Abdurrahman and Piyush Chawla and all those guys while I was there, and they were fantastic to learn from and just watch how they went about their business. But obviously then the pitches did suit the spin, so it meant that I myself had a good chance. And yeah, no, even from the first couple of games of the season, I remember again the year I took that 6 for, there was a bit of a heat wave in April, which was amazing, because for me then, first game of the season, it was nice dry hard pitches that were spinning. And yeah, no, I did pretty well from that. And obviously Somerset are continuing that on now with Jack Leach, who's been so impressive, and Don Best too. They seem to have two of the best young spinners in the country. And for them it's great. And I think it also shows what happens when you give spinners that real chance to play a full season and really develop. I think they're two brilliant cricketers in their own right, but I think it's the chance they've been given to develop and to play that many first class games consistently that's actually allowed them to get to that point.
Do you back Jack Leach for an extended stay in the England team, do you think?
I think so. I think he's developed fantastically from even my time when I was at Somerset, and he was kind of coming through, and he seems to have the right head on his shoulders. He seems to be incredibly consistent, but still gives it a good rip. I think he definitely has all the attributes of being a consistently successful Test cricketer, and so I hope he does. He's obviously a great lad as well, and wish him all the best with that.
And who do you think's coming through the age groups that we should be looking out for Ireland? Anyone that you've got your eye on that you think they're 17, 18 now, give it a couple of years, they'll be carrying Ireland Test cricket forwards?
I suppose I haven't seen too many of that younger batch recently. It's more so some of the academy guys who I'm really excited about. There's a couple of seam bowlers. David Delaney is one, who's got real raw pace. Can bowl 85 plus, I think, and he played his first class game last year for us, the Leinster Lightning here, and bowled really good pace and actually held his lengths all game and swung it, and that was a real eye-opener seeing him bowl that well. So I think he's one who's potentially going to be very good for Ireland in the future. And even Max Neville's another one who looks to be a real good talent. So that's from that under-19 team. Max Neville played in Australia in the winter, and himself and Josh Little, again, two bowlers who look to do really well. So I think it's those guys who should be coming through in the next while. And it's great that we now have this kind of pathway with the provincial stuff here, with the different provinces and first class cricket as well, for those guys to stake a claim.
That's one of the things that really interests me, is because I think Warren Dutron has set 3 objectives, as I recall, for Irish cricket. By 2020, be a Test nation. Tick, fantastic. 2 years early. But the other 2 were 50,000 people playing the game regularly at a good level in Ireland. Is it close to that in Ireland yet? I
think it's just growing every year. Obviously it's such huge success, and I know it's going back a long way, but from 2007 through the whole way, and all the World Cups on the way. Now obviously we're gutted to not be at the next one, but every time we did well, it just had such a boom. I was lucky, I was in school during the 2007 World Cup. I think I was maybe 15, so I actually watched all my friends play football at lunch. Football or rugby is what we did at lunch. And then for about a month there was 7 different games of cricket going on the same place where you're normally playing football, which was amazing to see. The effect literally it can have is that success, and from there I think every year it's grown, and I think it's grown across the board throughout the clubs, and obviously the provincial setup now is developing, and Warren and all the administrators within Cricket Ireland have done a great job for that, and I think the national team as well, everything is developed through that. But yeah, I do think it's all just getting better and better every year, and it all starts from club cricket, from those grassroots, getting those kids in. Again, Brian O'Rourke's another man who has done some great things in terms of schools cricket, Leprechaun Cup, and getting more and more kids involved and playing. And I think that's really where you want the biggest improvement to keep coming, is as you say, those numbers across the board, getting those kids in and driving it forward throughout the whole country.
How have you found the standard of first class cricket since the introduction of the new first class competition? Yeah,
it's getting stronger every year. The last game we just played was probably the best one I've ever played in terms of Boyd Rankin and William Porterfield came back and played for the Northwest Warriors, and we're bowling in a very strong attack that also included Craig Young and Stuart Thompson and Andy McBride, who were obviously in this Test match squad for this game. So to have 4 or 5 international bowlers in their lineup, and we have, I believe, 8 or 9 international batters in our team, really felt like that game had gone to the next level, which is superb. So I think it is something that's going to keep growing every year. and we just want to keep developing. It's obviously a small pool. There's 3 teams in the first class setup, which is great because, as I say, it's a tough team to get into because the amount of international experience it is across it. And yeah, the game this year was really exciting because, as I said, every single wicket you really had to work for it, and in terms of bowling, you had an international attack on both teams. So it was, it's getting better every year, and hopefully that just continues on.
And certainly the standard of associate cricket has been increasing steadily. We saw that in the World Cup qualifiers. How would you rate the associate cricket and first class cricket? How would you compare the two?
Yeah, I think that World Cup qualifier, it was so great to see the standard across the whole way. I believe it was Hong Kong who beat Afghanistan. So Afghanistan won the competition. Hong Kong, I think, came last, and they beat them in the first game of the series. And I think it was amazing. Every team had basically got beaten by someone else lower than them in the whole competition, and it shows how much it's all grown now. I think it's very close between all those teams the whole way down, and even the teams who didn't make it to that World Cup qualifier. I think it was Canada, maybe Kenya who were at the top of that table and almost went through, and in fact UAE in the end were the ones who pipped them and then went on to beat who was it, Holland, and then Zimbabwe in the actual competition itself. So even those teams who didn't get to show themselves on that stage of the World Cup qualifier, but the teams are a little bit lower again, are getting better and better every year, and it's great for the sport. I think it shows all the great work the ICC development team have done over years now to get all those teams up to that standard, and for global sport and for global cricket, it's good now.
Well, certainly to have not just one but 2 debutants, if you like, into the senior world of Test cricket is just phenomenal for the game generally. Anything that broadens the appeal of the game is just fantastic.
It is, and Afghanistan's story has been incredible.
Oh, yeah.
Their rise has been so good to watch, and again, having played against them since I think my actual debut, my T20 debut was against them in Sri Lanka, and they've come so far since then as well. So to see the kind of level of cricket they're playing, they're producing some incredibly exciting cricketers. You look at Rashid Khan and his rise to #1 bowler in the world, and you look at Majib as well and how he's now going in the IPL, and I'm sure he's going to have an incredibly successful career. It's so good to see Afghanistan producing that, and again, they wouldn't have been able to do that had they not been given these opportunities to play on this stage. And yeah, they're such an exciting team. Every other year they have a new bowler or batter who comes out and looks like he could be world class. So it is great that they've again got that opportunity, and it would be fantastic for them to play their first Test match against India. And again, they've been great in supporting us, and likewise the whole way through it all. And it's great just to be getting that exposure now.
Let's go back to this match. Who do you think in the Irish team is going to maybe surprise us? Where's your money in terms of star performers this time around?
Look, I suppose there's a huge amount of experience, as you said, and then looking at the likes of Boyd Rankin, who just always troubles people with that bounce and pace. I faced him last week, and there's not the only people, himself and Morning Morkel are the 2 who I've faced with that in terms of that bounce, and it's just so hard to play. So he's always won, and again, he's got such a wealth of experience behind him from all those games in England, and probably Joyce with the bat again. Huge amount of first class runs, huge amount of games behind him. Now again, it depends who's involved in this game. Stuart Thompson played beautifully last week in the provincial game, got 100, and he's one of these guys. He's such a natural ball striker. He just comes in and hits the ball clean from ball one, so he's another guy who can kind of take the game away from you. And also Tyrone Kane is another one who people may not have seen much of, but is very, very talented bowler who's actually made his debut against Scotland in the T20 International and got 3 wickets in it.
And a warm welcome back. Warm it most certainly is, in every sense of the word. Ireland, of course, now lead by 42 runs at Lord's. England, if you weren't somehow following it, goodness knows what you were doing, but was skittled for 85. Tim Murtagh taking 5 for 13, and 3 wickets for Adair, 2 for Boyd Rankin. The wickets to fall for Ireland were Porterfield and who was the second wicket to fall? Mental blank. McCollum. Yeah. So yes. So the 2 openers, both to Sam Curran, who should have been bowling from the start. To my left, none other than
Josh Robinson. Oi! I'm sober as a Josh on this wonderful Sotown that I must say accompanies the Dundee cake rather well.
And to my right,
Harry Everett.
Harry again, settling himself in and hopefully thoroughly enjoying his day in sunny Sydenham. Watching cricket with us.
Absolutely.
And what a day it's been. Ollie Stone is going to be taking up the attack. Let's see if we can get a fuller length this time. And there's a bit of movement away from the right-hander and through to the gloves of Johnny Bairstow. Sterling it is taking strike.
Linux Lear geht noch mal fremd. Linux Lear is cheating on us again. The weather's lovely, the sun's out, the overrate's appalling. Quoting David Gower. For some reason, Leo, you are listening to David Gower.
Oh dear.
You know, admittedly, it's
tweeting
fair.
us to tell us.
It's fair.
It may have been during tea time. Maybe she just didn't want to hear a George Dockrell interview.
But listen to that interview with the silver-tongued Tony Bishop.
Indeed. In comes Stone, and Sterling elaborately helicopters his arms to let that one through as well. Maybe he's making a little statement there, is Sterlo. He's, I'm in it for the long haul. This is not a T20 50 or out thrash. This is Test cricket.
Batted very well.
I want runs on the board, and I've got as long as I like.
We've been joined by Muttley.
Good Lord, woof.
Woof, he says.
Indeed. 127.42. In comes Ollie Stone again. This one's straying onto leg and is whipped off his legs by Sterling. It's straight to deep mid-wicket, and they will just take a single.
Dare I say, if it wasn't 33 degrees, they might have pushed for two there. But
you think so?
Sterling's build, they take the one.
Sterlo may also have been, a couple of fairly heavily loaded sandwiches.
Absolutely.
On board post-tea.
I'm sure they had a great tea at Lord's today.
I bet Tim Murtagh did.
Tim Murtagh will be reasonably confident now that his services are not needed for the rest of the day. His feet will be up.
He could have had steak for lunch and dinner.
Yeah, he will be. Well, what a performance! In comes Ollie Stone, short, and Balbirnie ducks underneath it, and it's taken away down the leg side by Johnny Bairstow.
Woof, says Muttley. Woof to you, Muttley. Just got in from work, he says, to catch the end of the tea break. Glad I wasn't in for the collapse. A special woof to my fellow Cardaffian. Hello, Muttley. Really good to hear from you, and look forward to getting together over a beer at some point.
Indeed. 128.42. The lead now 43. Let's see if England can find the key to the door here in the post-tea session. Stones in from the pavilion end. This is steered away backward a point by Balbirnie. I think that's going to go all the way. There's no one there. Yes, it does. 4 more.
4. Good God, yeah.
There you go. Have you found the in-play one yet?
Well,
it's under there. S for selected in-play.
It's down there. You may not need it. It's got some useful things for odd things that will pop up from time to time.
There's also an E for extras.
Dive by that man at backward point.
There's a maiden. There's a dropped cat.
There's a comedy fielding error.
Comedy fielding, if you should need that. There's a bunch of things.
That's a bit harsh, isn't it?
Anyway, Balbirnie stands with his bat aloft. He's going to be facing the last ball of Ollie Stone's fifth over. The ball swings away, and a little waggle and a prod from Stuart by Balbirnie, because that's the end of the over, and he couldn't quite stop himself from having a little fish, could he?
He's done that a few
but
times,
he didn't lay anything on it. It was through to Bairstow. Heads are thrown back in frustration, but no wicket is lost.
The perhaps excessively titled Mr. David Bober ESQ draws attention to the fact that there is geo-block free commentary provided from Guerrilla Cricket. Listeners will know that already without me telling so, except no substitute.
Well, thank you for that. And indeed, we are non-geo-blocked.
Muttley says beer sounds good and that I should let him know when we are free. We will stop flirting, dear listeners, and get out of your earbuds. But Mutters, I will look forward to a beer with you at some point when I'm back in town, coming back on Saturday evening, so plenty of time to make that happen.
Stuart Broad is going to be taking up the attack for England.
That means we need to jingle up Stuart Broad.
We do. He's going to be bowling from
if you'll forgive some on-air producing with this rookie jingler.
He's got it. He's right there. 32 degrees.
5 feet off the ground.
Humidity's gone down there.
It has.
Not in here it hasn't.
Not here it hasn't. No.
49%
God was one of the arms.
So no spin, so down to tea.
No. And to be honest, I don't think our spin looked especially threatening under any set of circumstances.
Well, Sterlo in particular played it so dismissively, not contemptuously, but just safely and milking it.
In comes Broad, and quite extravagantly drawn inside was the bat of Paul Sterling, who was happy to let that go. 83 miles an hour from Broad.
Listeners can decide whether they are relieved or upset. I'm afraid I can't work out how to find the comments on our Facebook live feed, but given that most of those who interact with us on Facebook are illiterate anyway, we can abuse them to our heart's content.
No, we wouldn't say that, and we do. I can set you up to be able to read those very soon.
Perhaps we should do a Twitter poll.
As Broad is going to be in from the nursery end again. 2 slips in place. Worked off his legs by Sterling, but worked straight to mid-wicket and no run. 132 for 2. The lead 47. Every run, it's psychologically once you're in front, every run feels like a bonus, doesn't it? It just has a different feel to the game once you've got a lead with wickets in the hutch as well.
These two are batting superbly. They're just taking the game away from England.
They are,
without having to take any risks.
Indeed, they're doing a nice job. Broad turns from the nursery end. That's a big shout, and he's given. Sterling has gone. Sterling is going to have a look. Just moved in enough. Sterling didn't really seem to play much of a shot at it.
Curse of the commentator, if ever I've given one.
Decided, yeah. Well, he has decided to review. I have to say, my first instinct was that looked pretty plumb to me.
Yes, very sorry, Paul Sterling, but
I think
I said you're batting superbly, and next ball, swung one in and slightly high. I think that's the only doubt, but I think it's top of middle, and leg.
I would be hugely surprised if that isn't out. Was it potentially
Top of the knee roll?
Top of the knee roll. He was playing across it slightly. It was coming back into him. There's certainly no bat involved. Pitch is outside off. The impact is in line. It's clipping the top of leg stump. And I'm afraid, Paul Sterling, there will be no 50 for him today. He has gone. Alim Dar will be relieved. He got it right.
I want a wicket jingle, don't you?
They're under W for wickets,
Here he is.
but the review ones are under S for in play.
And we have a lot of people with us on Cricket Tracker. So hello to Tanzil Ahmed, Almin Tarafada, Prince Rafi, Jennifer Kozia says lovely, Sani Pazai, Mohammed Nazim Amiri, Absalom Fakir, Mayek Bual, Hassan Ali, not that one I don't think, and someone called Jason Roy, who I also suspect is not that one I think. But welcome to you all.
Muttley is listening/watching on Facebook, but talking to us via the Twitter, mostly because Facebook insist on dead naming him. So if he can multitask, then so can other listeners. That's his vote.
And if Hassan Ali and Jason Roy are listening to us, then absolutely brilliant.
Dave Emeris says, I used to be able to read, unfortunately. I was then exposed to Michael Vaughan for an afternoon. My IQ dropped so much that I've been unable to make sense of words ever since. Now, I don't know if Harry knows the jingle I'm talking about, but there is a jingle that refers not only to the new batsman, but also to the precise amount of Michael Vaughan that you will hear on this broadcast.
The new batsman is none other than Kevin O'Brien, the destroyer of England from many years ago.
O'Brien, Kevin, guerrilla cricket.
The man who for a moment had a test average higher than Bradman's.
Very, very good player. Lovely chap.
Indeed. So Stuart Broad finally has his wicket. It's quite a big one too, in more ways than one, I suppose you could argue. It being Paul Sterling, who walked off, threw his head back, and I think he's probably disappointed with the lack of shot he played. Broad's in again. He seems to have found his line now, and Kevin O'Brien's able to get himself off the mark by steering this down to long leg. So he is away immediately. Balbirnie will be back onto strike. The lead 48.
I can confirm that the poll I did, the results of which show that we should not read the comments from Facebook. I admit that I did rig it slightly by giving 4 options that were all of variety on fuck off.
Okay. Good.
Kevin O'Brien not too impressed with his bat there, was he? Just looking at the inside edge, you think? Put tape on the bottom of his bat?
Yes. Well, normally looking at the bottom of your bat is batsman speak for I didn't connect with that properly, therefore I'm going to blame the tool, as this is left by Balbirnie, and it's through to Johnny Bairstow.
Part of me thinks Kevin O'Brien might be one of the old school players he's not like the modern guys who have 7 bats in the bag or 12 or the stupid bat. He might be one of those who just does have a trusty old bat he takes up. Dying breed.
Messi Jez is upset that I'm only insulting the listeners on Facebook Live and asks why I'm not also insulting those on Twitter.
You should be even-handed on it.
Messi, I'm very happy if you want flogging as well to dish some out to our Twitter listeners.
Stuart Broad's going to be in again. Right arm over. Once again, Balbirnie with a little hop and a jump is happy to watch that through to Johnny Bairstow. Kevin O'Brien, of course, never ever forget Bangalore in 2011, that 113 that got that famous victory over England. It's their only win in 9 ODIs, I think. England have won 8, if I'm right. But what a win it was! 35 now. Kevin O'Brien.
Every cricket podcast I saw before the World Cup was interviewing Kevin O'Brien or talking about that innings and going back and cricket classics are replaying it. All over the news.
They will. That is whatever he does now, and he was magnificent in their inaugural test in Malahide and made a ton there. But probably the one people will remember more is that, just as whatever I suspect Tim Murtagh does for the rest of his career, people are always going to remember 5 for 13 in your first ever Lord's Test match.
Absolutely.
But magnificent stuff.
I'm reminded of Joseph Heller, the author of Catch-22's comment. I'll break off.
It's going to be Ollie Stone again. Determined look on his face. Short! And O'Brien was happy just to duck out the way and let that one through.
Because there's a question that Tim Murtagh will be facing of how do you ever produce better bowling figures than 5 for 13? And Joseph Heller often came up against analogous criticism. He was criticised for not having written again anything as good as Catch-22. His response was, well, who else has?
Yeah.
And, if 5 for 13 at Lords are your career best bowling figures, then who can beat that?
Yep, indeed. Very much so. 133 for 3. Ollie Stone's bowled just 1 ball of his 6 over so far. He's none for 16, so wicketless for him today. 1 wicket for Broad, 2 for Curran. In comes Stone, and this is just steered away to mid-wicket by Kevin O'Brien for no run.
And to answer your question, Messi Jez, the reason I'm insulting Facebook Live listeners is that I'm too much of a technologically illiterate, incompetent, mildly sober muppet to be able to work out how to display the comments on the laptop. So it's far easier to insult them and pretend that it's that reason rather than my own ineptitude.
Stone again, right arm over. Oh, and again short. Now I don't know if this is some kind of plan to O'Brien. I can't quite see the logic in it.
He's a big lad who I thought was pretty notorious for playing the short ball well. He's good all around the wicket.
Well, yeah, that's what I thought.
Seems a very odd tactic, and he won't get the pull shot out quite yet. But I'm sure when he gets into his innings and starts seeing the ball well, then he'll just start putting these away.
Yeah, possibly England have seen something, and I'm sure they've done their analysis.
He's slightly aging, but he's only early 30s. We can't, it's not like
he's 35, I think.
I would guess, yeah. I think.
And that one does move a little bit, but O'Brien can just drop the bat on it away into the offside, and they take a swift single. Any swift single today, and any 2 or any 3s are going to be hard work in the 32 degrees of heat that is blazing down on a beautiful Lords. Not that we should really complain too much, but nonetheless, that is very warm for running about. No doubt about that. 134 for 3.
Last of the specialist batsman, Kevin O'Brien, so particularly key partnership this before.
Indeed, and that one is short and wide and left by Balbirnie.
Well, Gary Wilson and the bowlers who were coming afterwards, they can bat. Mark Adair got some useful runs against England in the ODI at Malahide.
He did. Don't underestimate Gary Wilson.
Exactly, yeah, he got a lot of runs for Derbyshire.
He's done very, very nicely. I mean, I realise Division 2 of the Championship and a Test match are quite different. Although try telling Tim Murtagh that. But
there's quite a lot of useful bowlers in Division 2 these days.
Well, aren't there just?
Lancashire,
Absolutely there are.
Internationals.
As Ollie Stone turns at the top of his mark. Economy's not really been his problem, but penetration has. And again, he's hitting a length, moving it slightly away from the right-handed Balbirnie, and Balbirnie happy enough to have nothing to do with it, knowing that lead is 49. There's 7 wickets still in hand.
I have worked out how to get to the Facebook live comments by moving from the Gorilla Cricket tab to the Crick Tracker tab. Hassan Ali asks if there are just one match or are there more. Sadly, this is a one-off test. This is the only test in this.
It's the
series.
one-off test. However, we will be covering all of the Ashes.
Yes, that's after the Lord Mayor's show. Series that will go on forever after the climax that is this main event
and
here
under
at Lord's.
discussion is a number of India games, so do stay tuned.
Abu Salam Fakir says hello. Hello. Mohammed Nassim Amiri says, oh, how good they are going. Yes, indeed, Ireland are batting exceptionally well.
In comes Broad, and there's an extra slip in place for Broad, isn't there? As Bairstow, I wouldn't really call it a dive. It was rather sort of an indolent sort of flop to his right, wasn't it, to be honest? Flop, perfect word, thank you for that.
Hello to Prince Rafi and Sunny Passy. Jennifer Cozier says lovely. Alan, great performance, says Alamin Tarafta, and Chahat Narang says thanks to Dharam Sena.
Saying earlier how it seems to be swinging more after it's bouncing
here
today. Again, it didn't seem to swing in the air, just pitched and just swung away, making it hard for Bairstow.
In comes Stuart Broad, puffing out his cheeks, and this one's right on off stump. And Kevin O'Brien is everything on the kitchen sink tucked in behind it, and there's no run.
Very solid, Kevin O'Brien. I think all the bats, he leaves nothing to chance. Everything is in behind the ball, as you say there.
Yeah.
Whole kitchen sink, and it's as straight as bat as you can possibly get. Just perfect technique. Watch this slow motion replay again, and it's the perfect way we want to teach kids to get everything in behind it. Solid.
Well, I guess from an Irish perspective right now, let's just see this ball from Broad, and I'll pick up where I was. He's going to be in past Alim Dar, and again Kevin O'Brien is everything tucked fully in there to push it back to Broad. I mean, having got England out for 85, a lead now of 49, still got 7 wickets in hand. I mean, time, even in a 4-day test, not the essence, because England's lost their wickets so quickly. Are they starting to think about what a good lead is, or are they just batting to see where they get to? I think they. Do you really think they don't think if we could get to a lead of 200, then it really sets us up for a victory? As this one is just again pushed back by O'Brien to Broad. I mean, I genuinely, maybe if I was Porterfield, I think I would have in my head a figure that I really want us to be getting towards. I really do.
Yeah, I suppose it's all
Context of the
changed.
game.
They would not have planned to be batting at this stage.
Well,
11 o'clock, of course.
In their wildest dreams,
No,
I don't think they can quite have expected that. But it is where we are now. I think they'll have a lead in mind, and these two are very integral to getting there, because, as you said, maybe there's less power in the batting. That is gloriously driven by O'Brien. There is no point in chasing that. The ball stood up for him. He stood and he delivered, and he cover drove it away through the covers for 4 runs.
For 4 runs.
For 4 runs. I had them
For
all
4 runs.
You were just admiring the shot. We've all done that. If it's a particularly good shot, we've all gone back and we've sat back and we thought, well, that's
I've
a
had
great
the
shot.
4 jingle ready for about 20 minutes and there's not been a single 4.
It seemed to me that ball, good rather than full length, just sat up a little, and O'Brien had the presence of mind just to slow the shot, and the timing was perfect out to the extra cover boundary.
It was
absolute beautifully
Josh
shot.
is spot on. It was all about timing. 3 slips in place. Stuart Broad is in, and this one is shortened but not terribly fearful at all, and O'Brien is behind it, and there is no run. Concludes that over. Broad has 1 for 30.
I seem to be rubbing up Messijez the wrong way, to whom I apologise. Messijez says, no, Josh, I'm not inviting you to insult Twitter users as well. I am suggesting you respect those who choose to listen on whatever platform they choose and stop sneering at them. Messijez, my heartfelt and profuse apologies. I was in a, shall we say, persona that is somewhat curmudgeonly at times. Listeners, some of you may appreciate being insulted gratuitously, others rather not. My wholehearted apologies. Muttley says that Facebook comments are best read out when... I'm sorry, I'll break off.
You will, because it's going to be Ollie Stone again, and he has ripped out middle stump, and he has his wicket. Well, Bernie has gone. What a delivery that was. It was full, it swung late. The net result is his middle stump. The middle stump of Balbirnie is pegged back and lying sorrowfully on the ground Stone punches the air with both fists, and another wicket has gone for Ireland. Yeah.
Not often that you see an outswinger knock back middle stump like that, is it? It
Well,
started almost on, maybe even just inside leg stump, moved to beat the outside edge. It's not that he was playing down the wrong line, because he wasn't. He was playing down absolutely down the right line. The only question is whether he was playing the right shot to it, because that moved past the outside edge but still took out middle stump.
It did. I mean, there wasn't a huge amount of movement of the feet, but it wasn't an aggressive shot. He wasn't looking to drive. He was just
looking to clip through mid-wicket.
He just missed a straight one. Can you put it
That was
somewhere?
not a straight one.
I don't
I
think it
think
was
it's the
straight.
swing.
It did move.
I don't think that swung enough for him to be beaten. A guy on
No,
55,
you're right.
I'm just not appalled is the wrong word, but just surprised that a man who's on 55 and batting so nicely, moving his feet a little bit, it swung a touch, and he's just.
I think
You're
his
right, trying to play it mid-wicket. Maybe he should be playing it straighter.
I think his eyes lit up and thought, this is full leg stumpish, I should be clipping it through mid-wicket, rather than thinking there's a first job is play this straight.
Because if he played that straight back past the bowler, he'd be fine and safe.
As we welcome in the new batsman, I will read out Muttley's tweet and try not to garble it this time. Facebook comments, he says, are best when read out by Nakul Pandey. He reads out every emoji.
Yeah, he does.
Every emoji.
Well, here is
Muttley.
Gary Wilson anyway. Is 105 matches for Ireland.
Yeah, Gary Wilson said, yeah, I can play keep, and I love the bat. I can move my feet and watch the ball come down. Oh, watch the ball come down.
As you said, been in the run, a lovely, good career with Derbyshire.
And North Stand Gang Wankady say video analysis be damned. We need sketch analysis courtesy of Dr. Dan.
Oh, and he's welcomed to the crease by Ollie Stone, who has the taste now, who's dropped it short, and poor old Gary Wilson had to leap up onto his toes, and that was right aimed at his chin.
It's a real rip snorter. We haven't seen that.
I'll tell you what, there are two deliveries.
Was a snorter.
Two consecutive deliveries from Ollie Stone. I would absolutely love to see Dr. Dan's sketches, both of Balburney's middle stump being knocked back and of the ball crashing into Gary Wilson's grill like that.
On his toe, and it's an edge.
Did it?
It
I don't
was
think it
edged,
carried.
I don't think it carried.
Yard short.
I think it was short and then
But
bounced
nonetheless,
off his chest.
Is that
Ollie
Jason
Stone
Roy
seems to
back
have
on
found an
field?
extra yard or two of pace.
Yes.
Some real spit and venom into his bowling now.
Yes, says Muttley. Tweeted a wicket. Woof! Good work, Mutters.
I could see him being a bit like Stuart Broad, Ollie Stone, and that he really gets his tail up and really sort of charges in and puts a bit of extra oomph into it.
Very much an emotion, an attitude. Not less. When Broad's at his worst, he's an attitude bowler. When he's at his best, he's very much an
Comes Ollie
emotion
Stone
bowler.
again, and Wilson is watching through down leg this time, so less of an issue just to watch that one through. He'll probably be quite grateful for that after the welcome to the crease he received from Ollie Stone. We're watching that dismissal again. It was pretty straight, but it probably just did enough. But it might just have been too quick for Balburney. He just didn't seem to read it or pick it up, and bang, down back went his middle pole.
Well, Bernie and Sterling look so comfortable, and now the two of them have both gone. One brings two, as they say.
And this one is edged and taken. And Stone has another one.
2 in and over.
2 in and over. Wilson has gone without troubling the scorers. He faced just the 4 balls, and a torrid 4 they were as well. The 4th one has done for him. It took the outside edge. It went straight to slip, and he has gone for naught. And England are fighting back.
Apologies to scorers among our listeners for Tony's use of that cliche, which we are fully aware does not actually represent the amount of work that goes into completing the scorebook when a batsman is out for a duck.
I know, and we know a few, and they're never slow to point that out, without a doubt.
How
Gary Wilson trudges off with his, he'll feel he's probably missed out, but that was a genuinely good, spiteful ball that got him, wasn't it?
Imp Sound Howd tweeted in 8 minutes ago before these wickets to say that he's enjoying this Irish dominance, speaking as an England fan with day 3 tickets. Well, Howd, I also have day 3 tickets, and I think that enjoying this Irish dominance makes you a cricket fan rather than an English fan, the best kind.
Then he waddled away, waddle, waddle.
Waddled away, waddle, waddle. Yes, he did.
Pirate Badshaw says, damn, I'm developing a touch of nerves now. Doom can only be around the corner, although it was a nice 50 from Balbirnie. Dr. Matt Burley remarks that the Lord's announcer introducing Gary Wilson in the style of his Test Match Sofa / Guerrilla Cricket jingle. Is he a secret listener? Jay Grover says, I just turned on after tea and Josh was apologising. What the fuck? Also, if you want units of incompetence trying to set up my new air fryer, should be measured in Muppets. Cheers to that, Jay.
That's an interesting unit of measure, the Muppet. Reached a...
Fuck, says Linux Lear in impeccable German. Ireland need a lead of 150 on this pitch at least.
Well, Stuart Thompson is the new man to the creasing. Ireland are 138 for 5.
Stuart Thompson.
I think it's well worth saying that Ollie Stone probably the best 4 balls of the match.
Absolutely.
That little spell at, you think, oh, Wilson got out for a duck. You think, oh, that's bad batting, but no. They were 4 beautiful deliveries.
That said, it wasn't the wicket-taking delivery that was the most dangerous of them. It was the fact that it came after those other balls. It was the way it set him up. It was
a good old-fashioned working over.
Absolutely.
Exactly, that's the big thing of Test
Three-card
cricket.
trick.
Bowler. Exactly, yeah.
So anyway, Wilson went off 4 balls without scoring.
And
the
we
new
are
man is going to be Stuart Thompson. It's 2 wickets in the over for Ollie Stone, and he got that one to swing. And Stuart Thompson, well, he got some bat on it and away to the leg side, but I don't know how much about it he really knew.
It was a stifled
So
shout.
it's a double wicket maiden over. What a spell!
No jingle for double wicket maiden, but maiden will do, won't it?
Well,
it's the join the dots one.
It is.
Wicket maiden.
Double.
Every time we occasionally say there isn't a jingle for something, we know
Morgan
that
Packer.
around the world, various parts of the globe, our wonderful jinglers, jingle composers are pricking up their ears and going, right then, chances are we'll have one in our inbox either before the close of play or by tomorrow morning.
But you're absolutely right, Harry. That was a stunning bit of bowling by Ollie Stone. It really did give him the old-fashioned working over. And suddenly, as Jeff Boycott didn't quite say, add 3 wickets to score, Ireland aren't in trouble, but suddenly their position is not as comfortable as it was.
Well, I was just putting my,
they lead by 53.
If I was in England shoes right now, as Broad is going to be in to Kevin O'Brien, on whom an awful lot now depends, I think.
Yes.
He pushes this away into the offside, there's no run. If I was England now, I'm thinking lead of under 100. We can get through them tonight. That puts us right back in the game. The pitch is going to be hopefully a little bit more manageable tomorrow. It's anyone's game.
How much?
And Ireland will be thinking, we really don't want to let this go, having worked our ways into such a strong position.
How much of this will be about... I'll break off.
Yep. As in comes Broad and forward comes Kevin O'Brien. There's no run.
How much of this will be about England wanting Tim Merton not to have that much rest, wanting him to have to bowl again today? Because the one thing after that long spell he bowled this morning, superb as it was, the one thing Merton will want will be to spend the rest of the day with his feet up in an ice bath, thinking, I don't want to have to bowl again until after tea tomorrow when it's got a bit cooler.
In comes Broad, and this is worked nice off his legs by Kevin O'Brien, backward of square. And there is a man down there, they will just take an easy single.
And he might be a bit stiff if he has to come on and bowl today, and I think seeing him coming in again just might get those England tails up a little.
Well, we're just looking at the 4 balls in quick succession that Ollie Stone bowled. Maybe 3 out of 4 were pretty good. The one that went away down leg was nothing too special, was it? But
it was still sharp.
As a good old-fashioned working over of a new batsman, when you just knock back the middle pole of the previous incumbent,
I have a question.
It was pretty good.
Are workings over and ever anything other than old-fashioned?
That's a really good question, actually, because it is a phrase people use.
Do you get newfangled workings over?
Not really.
No,
not really. I just suppose it's just been a tactic ever since the beginning of the game, I suspect, and I think that's why it's called old-fashioned. Now England right on the attack. 4 slips in place as Broad is in to the left-handed Stuart Thompson. He's happy enough to let that through to Johnny Bairstow.
Good
And
to see.
England suddenly feeling this is a different game now, a different game to the one they were falling about, making a pretty poor job of this morning, not making a particularly good start of after lunch. But now it all looks rather different.
Yeah, well, the right left-hander at the crease could be an issue for Broad and Stone to get their radar, but Broad straight on it first ball there. And
He was. He was indeed. So O'Brien on 7. And yeah, a lot does depend on Kevin O'Brien. I think he's got to nurture them through, and Thompson is nicely forward. He's going to want to be nurturing them through to a lead. I'm going to put a number on it. I think they want a lead of 150.
Yeah, that's
I
absolutely.
think 150 in the context of this game is a lot of runs.
150 is, I'd say, the game set up perfectly.
Yeah.
just on that with Kevin O'Brien, are you not surprised he's coming at number 5?
No.
Paul Sterling's a very good batsman, but I thought normally they used to be the other way round. Kevin O'Brien was used to bat number 4.
No, well, I think because he's more of an all-rounder, O'Brien, these days.
Paul
Sterlow's often, been open, and that one it looked like a slower ball. It completely flummoxed Thompson, who played all around it, and it was through to Bairstow. Is down on his knees, contemplating exactly how that happened. Certainly didn't look like pace that beat him, did it? It looked a bit floaty-flighty.
Stayed a bit low, I thought, possibly.
Yeah.
Didn't
Very
bounce.
probably did, but it concludes that over, and a very good over it was too.
We have a metrological question from Perko. Perhaps it's one for the Bear. Jeff Perkins asks how many Muppets there are in a fucking Muppet. Well, if
That's an interesting question in more ways than one.
would it be 100 or 10? Or?
I think you have to ask the Bear that question.
Yeah, I
because
think we
that's
do. I mean,
very much his
obviously, there's
catchphrase.
milli Muppets would be a milli Muppet would be a thousandth of a Muppet, but a fucking Muppet, is it 3 Muppets? Is it 5 Muppets? Is it an order of magnitude more Muppets?
It just depends what mood Bear is in, I think.
Stone staying on.
Yes, indeed. Well, I'm not surprised, as this is whipped away off his legs by Kevin O'Brien through mid-wicket. The man on that mid-wicket boundary, the man on the mid-wicket boundary is Moeen Ali, of course.
Messi
And,
Jez
we'll take 2.
Messi Jez seems no longer to be angry with me, at least I hope he isn't, and says, I think Ben Stokes could best advise you on the subtleties of the difference between a modern versus an old-fangled working over.
Yeah, indeed he could.
The next layer says, so you want impeccable German? Können wir machen von den Göttern verdammte Fickscheiße, she says.
That last word didn't sound too good. I didn't understand the rest of it, but the last word I sort of picked up. In comes Ollie Stone.
Ooh.
And that one, well, Kevin O'Brien was looking to work that away again to leg, and he rather got a leading edge to that, and was lucky that it didn't lob up into the air and just went back along the ground. Ollie Stone.
Gary Murphy says that he does feel a batter light here, although that may be just because of Wilson. Blue String Parks is back home, says this is looking a little more encouraging.
Indeed it is. In comes Ollie Stone. This one is short, and O'Brien is able to duck underneath it, and there is no run.
Blue String Parks asks what time Stumps is meant to be. I believe they're scheduled to stop at the latest at 7 this evening.
Yeah, 98 overs need to be bowled in the day.
No
I'm
chance.
not quite sure, and I don't think that's going to happen. So we are most likely to go on until 7, yes.
Yeah, this over rate is understandably slow given the number of wickets that have fallen, given the temperature, and also given the potential concussion to William Porterfield.
Ollie Stone turns at the top of his mark again. He's right arm over. That one, hook, line and sinker, beats Kevin O'Brien. He didn't get anything on it. Heads are held in hand. Joe Root's doing that kind of cuddling of himself with one arm and the other one sort of grabbing his neck. Well, that beat Kevin O'Brien. All ends up. What a delivery. Ollie Stone is going through an absolute purple patch here, and he will be loving every moment of it.
Terrible VPL though from Bairstow. Pirate Badger agrees that Ireland feel a batter light. He says it does feel like that. That's why I've wanted Simi to play as the spin option for greater depth.
Stone again now. What's he got up his sleeve this time? The way he's been bowling. 2 slips go down. Forward comes Kevin O'Brien. Pushed to the floppy-hatted Stuart Broad in his perennial mid-on station.
Yeah, Simi Singh bowled well in the series before the World Cup. He bowled in the ODIs and some previous games. I was quite impressed with him. I was surprised he didn't get him in the team today, especially when England gone with 2 spinners.
Speaking of perennial stations, the Bear is poised, beer in hand, vape in t'other.
Bear, could you grab the
Looking
Sauternes from the green room, please?
Set.
The sweet white wine, the Sauternes, half bottle that's open in the green room.
comes Stone, and forward comes O'Brien, and there is no run. So that concludes the over. Are we having a change? Is that what's happening? I don't know who's coming in for who, but at the moment, of course, Ireland 141 for 5. Stuart Broad has 1 for 31. Sam Curran 2 for 21. 2 for Ollie Stone.
Just like Gorilla Commentary, we need money. That's what I want. We need money. I don't like the BBC. I prefer Gorilla Commentary. I want money. $20 for the archive. That's what I want.
And Broad is in from around the wicket and he knocks back first ball of the over the off stump of Stuart Thompson. Ireland 141 for 6. They lead by 56. Broad has taken a wicket.
I won't look back, 'cause by the time that I do, you'll be gone.
Well, it's all falling apart for Ireland now, isn't it?
Stuart Thompson shouldering arms to a ball that it didn't do that much. It was angled back in, did a little bit more in the air and off the pitch, pinged back the top of off stump. Stuart Thompson is looking like an absolute idiot. It wasn't a terrible shot, but he will be...
God, there was no shot offered.
It
was a terrible shot.
It wasn't a terrible leave based on where it pitched, but he will be feeling and looking an absolute numpty. I mean, in terms of Muppets or fucking Muppets, I'd say that's 3.5 fucking Muppets. At least that's how it'll look.
It's a pretty poor decision, isn't it? We've seen it happen before. The round of wickets came in a little bit more. Well, you know, England have got themselves in all sorts of trouble. They may be digging themselves out here. Maybe the wicket's going to flatten out tomorrow and England get to bat. You know, I mean, England could be back in again tonight.
They could be back in again
tonight.
tonight.
If we go till 7, we've got 2 hours left, Nick.
They could be making Tim Merton.
They could be back. They could be back in a lead by the end of the day.
Well, Gary Murphy sums up our thoughts on Tomo's batting. Yeah, well, and we're talking about Simi Singh, and he says, "Yeah, I would have had him in for Tomo myself." Tomo's not particularly picked just as a batsman, but you want your number 7 to come in and bat a little bit.
He didn't bowl well today. I mean, to be fair, he had competition from 5 astonishing spells. But yeah, he's clearly not had a great test, and that test is going to look even worse based on the shot he failed to play to that delivery. Credit to Stuart Broad though, he pitched the ball up, top of off, rather than beautiful delivery.
It was
shouldering
indeed.
arms to something that basically came on from outside off stump.
I like Broad and Stone in tandem.
This is the first time I've seen Ollie Stone bowl.
Me too.
And I'm quite impressed. I like his pace. He keeps it up as well. He doesn't need to use it. He's a bit of a workhorse.
Yeah.
In the Overton kind of
and he seems
body
to be,
shape.
He seems to be inspiring Broad to bowl better.
Indeed.
And that was Broad's 439th wicket, drawing level with Dale Steyn on 439.
A significantly worse
wickets.
average, and in 34 more tests, he's got the same.
And his strike rate is nothing like Steyn's, but nonetheless.
But nonetheless, he's
are we going to
there.
jingle
Let's
up
not put him
the
down.
new batter?
Absolutely. This man's in.
Coming up, who's 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 coming up. It's a dare. You got hold up the island. Alright, and back and you.
Broad, right arm, over the wicket to the new batsman, just back of a length, nonetheless plays forward out into the offside, no run.
Mark Day, you might remember in May, got those runs. Really impressive batting, I thought, on that ODI in Malahide when Jofra Archer made his ODI debut, and all this talk before the World Cup, and Ireland obviously weren't in the World Cup, and Adair just relatively unheard of name at the time, batted superbly, I thought, that day.
Speaking of which, you might also remember a certain 3 wickets he took this morning.
Yeah, indeed. As we watch Jimmy Anderson wander around. I've got a photo with Jimmy Anderson. I'll just say that.
I've got a
I've got
lovely
a
Jimmy
signed
story.
photo with him.
Broad in, right arm over to Adair, who this time jabs his bat down as Broad finds that late swing just to beat. It did just too much to beat the outside edge. It's
That's almost
taken by
unplayable,
Bairstow behind the
wasn't
stumps. Absolute Jaffa if Bear can be bothered to jingle it.
Oh, no. The question here, is this to do with the balls? Is it to do with conditions? Is it to do with the heat that we're getting so much movement here?
I think
Swing
the heat.
still. Do you think it's the heat
It's
and
the
humidity?
heat and therefore the humidity.
No,
Yeah.
I think it's the humidity.
But it's also that Ollie Stone seems to be, I don't know if it's inspiring or urging Broad, or at least perhaps just showing him what the fuck he needs to do.
Well, no, my question is, if this is his last year's Duke balls,
Broad this time is played out into the off stump by Adair, no run.
This could be the entire summer, couldn't it? Low-scoring Ashes series. I kind of like low-scoring tests.
Me too.
It generally means that the batsmen who get runs are competent.
Not very good for ticket sales, isn't it? Not
Well,
in the last 4
no, it
days,
isn't.
let
It
alone
isn't.
5,
But I mean, the
maybe.
last Ashes series was, the two of the tests virtually only just finished before lunch on the third day.
Broad continues over the wicket, this time closer to the stumps to Adair, who pulls, not with full intention but not quite full execution, works the ball out towards the deep square leg boundary. It's fielded by the man coming in from deep backwards square.
Watch out
The
for short leg
batsman
here.
complete 2.
I think this might be a slim chance. Worth watching the replay. He's not got hold of this too well. Obviously,
He hasn't.
he's sort of clothed the pull shot for 2. And Roy Burns might want to take a bit of evasive action, expecting him to middle it. And Adair's got long leaves and a powerful chap, so he could have hit it a long way, but we're not going to get the replay.
No, if England do go
we
back,
might at the end of the over.
if England do go back into that, they're going to change their approach, aren't they, in the second innings?
They'll have to.
Try and score some runs.
Broad into completely over, and this time is prodded with not quite a straight bat, a bat that's very much on the move, but safely out just to where a super short extra would be. It's fielded, no run. At the end of the over, Ireland are 143 for 6. They therefore lead, if my sums are correct, by 58.
Seems not coming quite through straight from Stuart Broad. I wouldn't say it's necessarily crossing, maybe scramble scene.
Get your mic closer to your mouth.
I'm sorry, yeah.
There you go.
What would you analyse on the seam position for Stuart Broad?
He's trying to angle it, isn't he? He's doing also a lot of the wobble seam, isn't he?
The only person who can hold a mic that far from their mouth and get away with it is Ed Benson.
Absolutely.
To be fair, he can hold a mic in the next room and still be audible.
No, Broad, lovely few deliveries in that over. I just think the ball's not that old. Maybe just keep trying to swing it. Don't think we need to do wobble seam and scramble.
No, exactly.
Just swing it.
I
He's
think
swinging
he
it around
kind of
corners.
does it quite naturally, though. Who's still to bat? Andy McBride,
Not a lot.
Boyd Ranking, and Murtagh.
Yeah.
As Stone continues over the wicket and O'Brien plays it late.
With a bit of falling
Not
over.
fully defensively, he's playing through the line but off balance, feet together, not looking fully comfortable, but kicks the ball out down the wicket, no run.
I'd have said he doesn't look comfortable.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
This is my point about O'Brien coming at number 5, though. I think he's still Ireland's best batsman. And I think your best batsman wants to come in at 4 at the latest. Him and Stone 4-5 shouldn't make too much of a difference. I just feel like he could now run out of partners.
Stone in from wide of the crease, angled in towards O'Brien, who plays the ball with no foot movement at all, bat a long way apart, away from him, keeps it out, gets it out to a very wide third man. It's definitely further behind square than backward point. The batsman complete 2. But he's, not looking in any way comfortable. He played that with no footwork whatsoever, just sort of swinging his bat outside the off stump.
He doesn't want to get anywhere near it, does he?
Lead is up to 60. Not certainly the lead is certainly useful, but it's certainly not decisive, and it's not enough to give Ireland a distinct advantage at this stage. I mean, obviously a lead is better than any lead is better than no lead, but still. Stone this time drifts down leg stump. O'Brien swings at it, misses at it. It's taken harmlessly by Bairstow, no run. It's certainly not, given the context not only of the match but also of Ireland's short Test career, it's not the lead they'd want to have 6 wickets down.
No, of course not. But any lead is an advantage.
Well,
isn't it?
it's of course Ireland's first ever first innings lead, and therefore their highest ever first innings lead. But I'd agree with Tony, the magic number's 150. Stone to continue over the wicket from wide of the crease. This time he tries to bounce O'Brien. It's about as full as a bouncer can be, and O'Brien ducks under it. It's too far down leg. If he'd got that a little bit further inside the line, it could have been troubling to the armpit and potentially flicking something up towards the sort of the short leg, even the 45 area. But as it was too far down leg to be troubling at all. Ireland 145 for 6. The lead is 60.
What county does Ollie Stone play for?
Warwickshire.
Warwickshire.
Birmingham boy.
Okay.
Stone in this time from closer to the stumps, and O'Brien jabs it down off the back foot. He wants a single. There is no single there. It's fielded by... Was that Root running around the point? I don't think it was.
I think he might have come from slip.
It could have been. I thought there was a gully in as well. No. Sky are crap at showing us the field. One thing the ICC did well, and of course limited overs cricket is very different, but in the ICC coverage there was often a graphic showing what
where
the
the
field
fielders were.
was.
Yeah.
And there's nothing, Sky are not providing anything comparable at the moment, but we do have the one relatively wide slip. He seems to have moved as Stone comes in. The 2 slips completely over, jags off the inside edge, goes just behind the man at a very square short leg. It's fielded by square leg running round. The batsman complete a single. The end of the over, Ireland 146 for 6, the lead 61. O'Brien 12 not out, keeps the strike. Adair has 2.
Yeah, Brian's looking a bit shaky, isn't he? Just sort of struggling,
Yeah.
sort of cutting into him a bit. Read out a few tweets for you while we're here. So we're talking about the 7 o'clock finish. Blue String Park says 7 p.m. you say. I can see tonight's Blue Strings rehearsal being a 1 eye on the telly, 1 eye on the fretboard, 1 ear on you guys and 1 ear on the cordage. What a job that is. That's multitasking at its finest.
And the bear has farted. It absolutely fucking stinks in here.
Oh, that's smelly. What are you on about?
I can't smell it over here yet.
Yeah,
You will.
Carry on. Broad may be level with Dale staying on wickets taken, but how many photos has he taken of teammates pissing on the golf course?
Well,
Their
this is
name
true.
drop alert.
What about pissing on the strip at the Oval? We have a change of bowling.
And it is this man.
We need a Sound of Music jingle for him.
Do you sing?
Sam Curran. What's his distinguishing feature? Sam Curran. He starts from Zimbabwe. Sam Curran. And he's beloved by Liz Yates. Sam Curran.
Bowled well today, isn't he? Sam Curran and Ollie Stone, probably the 2 who you perhaps wouldn't expect, the least experienced, the youngest bowlers in the team, have done really well.
With the least to lose and the most to prove,
Well,
given
yes.
that we're leading up to an Ashes series about which we shall not talk, as Curran bowls
Rubbish.
over the wicket, jags the ball back into O'Brien. All he can do is prod it assertively down the wicket, no run.
The idea that we can't talk about the Ashes, bollocks.
It's not that we can't talk about the Ashes, it's that we shouldn't talk about the Ashes as if this is only a starter.
Yeah,
and
it's not
the
just a
Ashes is
warm-up
the main
game, is
course.
it? This is a...
This is a
well,
test
I
match.
disagree with you. Actually, I think this is just a warm-up, and that's why it's been put in. But
Which
there
is
you
possibly why England aren't playing
Cynic.
particularly well.
go. No,
Ireland are taking
maybe
it very
it's cynical.
seriously.
I mean, I think we have probably commitments that we have to do.
Curran left arm over the wicket. This time he angles it across Kevin O'Brien, who he plays the kind of quasi-defensive shot that's really so far inside the line that it's actually not playing it at all. It sails harmlessly through to Bairstow, no run.
That's the Marcus Trescothic leave, I call that. He plays
there's
a
no
defensive
curtain
shot
rail.
inside the line. Well, yes, but he plays a defensive shot well inside the line, and that's his way of leaving the ball.
Yeah, but what Trescothic does is he starts on the line and then deliberately pulls the ball inside it like on a curtain rail, with pulling his top and bottom hand inside. Curran continues. This time it's a much tighter line. 3.5 stump. There's trouble here. The non-striker Adair was halfway down the wicket looking for the single. The throw came in. It missed the stumps. It would have been close rather than a dead cert. There was definitely an opportunity missed there by England. Jagged in off O'Brien's inside edge. Jagged out to the short leg area. A direct hit would have been very, very close. However, the ball missed the stumps.
Rory
No
Burns, was
overthrows. It was indeed. Curran in again to bowl the anti-penultimate ball of the over. Left arm over the stumps from very close to the wicket. This time it pitches middle and off. It straightens. It would have passed over the top of middle and leg. It beats O'Brien, all ends up, jags into that uncomfortable space between glove and back thigh. How that didn't career onto the stumps, no one quite knows. It didn't. He's safe. Ball bounces down in front of him out along the topping crease.
It's amazing.
No run.
It's amazing how long the ball has swung today.
It is. It is. It could be the humidity. Curran in, left arm over. This time, same line, but rather than swinging in, it just continues. O'Brien opens the face, runs the ball out towards, just in front of gully, towards deep backward point. The batsman amble a single, bringing Marcus Adair back on strike to face the last ball of the over. Ireland 147 for 6, the lead 62. What will Curran do now? The field, Bairstow almost at first slip himself to Curran coming over the wicket. 2 slips. There's a very wide, there's a short cover. There's a gully coming in. The backward point is moving towards a deeper orthodox cover, and then there's an extra. That's the offside field. I can't see anything else. As Curran this time floats up a full toss, Adair keeps it out. It was just beyond Yorker length, pushes it to wide mid-on. There is no run. The end of the over, Ireland are 147 for 6.
You can see what he's trying to do there. He was trying to get the Yorker in, wasn't he? In-swinging Yorker.
He's looking quick, Sam Crone. You never thought him as a quick bowler, but the way Kevin O'Brien's being hurried up and looks almost uncomfortable, him swinging in and jagging into him, and make him look quicker than he is, perhaps.
Now, the big difference looking at those scorecards is that of the England top order, Joe Denley was the only person to get into double fingers until Sam Curran. Look at the Ireland top order. It's nothing to write home about. Balboni has 55. The next highest is Sterling on 36. But they've all made double figures. Now, in many respects, getting a start and then getting out is less excusable. But in conditions like this, particularly in a match situation like this, that is precisely what you want. They're accumulating, they're putting an innings together which somehow has almost doubled the England score. Ireland 147 to 6, the lead is 62 as we have a change of bowling.
Going to bowl.
A tweet from Evil Scooters. I'll wait till after this jingle.
He's on Instagram and he's a Twitter fan. On the Ashes tour, not Ben Stokes, but he'll have to do.
What's that tweet from Scooters, Harry?
Well, we've got a couple. So Scooters has said, regardless if you view this test as an Ashes warm-up or not, it's rather missing the point. What we should be focusing on is England doing its part for the continuing growth of Test cricket, rather than the morally bankrupt narcissism going on in Southampton. Strong words. And messages back home.
What's in Southampton?
What's going on in Southampton?
Oh, I don't know. We'll have to wait.
Is it the Graham Hick against the Brad Haddin 12s?
Oh.
Yes.
As Wokes is over the wicket onto the pads of Kevin O'Brien, who can't do more than work the ball out to mid-on for no run.
That game was a low-scoring affair last time I checked. Both all out for 100 and not much more.
No, I don't mind it. It's a warm-up. I mean, I don't have a problem with saying it's a warm-up. We have an obligation to play Ireland anyway. We were going to play Ireland. That's cool. They kind of denigrated the game by making it a 4-day game instead of a proper 5-day test. It's probably to fit in. I mean, you've got to think we've had a World Cup and it's screwed up the entire rest of the
Wokes,
summer.
right arm over the wicket, jags the ball back into O'Brien. It hits him on the thigh pad going down the leg and over the stumps. There's not even a half-hearted, probably an eighth-hearted stifled shout that doesn't quite get as far as being an appeal. No run.
Just switched on Guerrilla Cricket and heard the phrase anti-penultimate ball. Must be Josh Robinson on commentary, says Dr. Leonie Hicks.
Hello Leonie, how are you doing? I believe Leonie is also a graduate of my own alma mater. Wokes in over the wicket to O'Brien, who's again completely squared up by the one that pitches middle and leggish. Moves just away, would have passed over the top of off. Ball bounces down into the crease. He's not looking happy as Kevin O'Brien.
No, he's got an angled bat. He keeps getting the inside of the bat into his body, doesn't he? Into his pads or into...
At least he's digging in.
Yeah.
A lot.
He is. It's what the situation requires.
That's the experience he's showing. Yeah, he's struggling, but he won't give it away.
All that vast experience of having played 2 tests before this one.
For a man of other cricket there.
Indeed. Wokes in this time. Oh, hello.
The ball would have gone non-strikers then. I think O'Brien was in trouble.
This time O'Brien sort of holds the bat out, lets the ball bounce off the open face of the bat down to back point the batsman scamper a single, and as Harry says, a throw to the non-striker's end would have left him in some difficulty, but as it was, it came to the wicketkeeper's end and Marcus Adair was safe. He will face the last, at least the penultimate ball of this over from Chris Wokes, possibly the last 2, depending on what happens off this one. Wokes in, this time it is the Yorker, and Adair digs it out well, jabbing his bat down on it late, safely. Ball squirts out to mid-on, no run.
Messi Jez back home says Mitchell Marsh just took 5 for 38 for Australia v Australia A, or whatever you want to call that match. Could we see the maintenance of the normal Mitchell and Marsh quotas during the Ashes?
Well, it could be a couple of Mitches.
Sean's out injured, isn't he? But
Smash,
Mitchell
Glamorgan,
starts,
Sean Marsh is injured. Marcus Labuschagne, Glamorgan Marcus Labuschagne is playing in the, I forget for which side.
What do you call him Marcus then?
As Adair works the ball out from Chris Wokes that's on the leg side out towards deep backward square, pinches the strike. At the end of the over, Ireland are 149 for 6. They lead by 64.
You're trying to claim Marcus Labuschagne as a Mitchell or a Marsh?
No, I'm saying Glamorgan.
Another
Glamorgan player.
Oh, I've put him in my fancy team.
Along
He's
with
got tons of fun this year.
He has indeed in the second
And
division.
his wickets as well.
Yeah, they can put him in a test side and I'll be quite happy with that.
Yeah, I thought
along with
happy
Mitch
from his
Marsh.
perspective.
Yeah, as long with Mitch Marsh, they can have him in the side as well. He'll struggle here.
Nick Martin says, Joe Denley was the only player to get into double figures. Sure, that will be in a cricket WhatsApp group before long. Or many already. And someone else on Joe Denley.
Wasn't. He was the only top order England player. At least 2 others made it into double
Yeah, I'm
figures.
not quite sure where he's got that from. Well, someone else more accurate about Joe Denley. Well, it's an opinion as opposed to accuracy. Joe Denley should be England's Test captain, obviously. Not quite sure the grounding on that, or where we got that from.
Accurate.
Got to get your
If
place.
that's accurate, I hate to think where the fucking bullseye is.
Need to get some stability and keep his place in the team before he can be captain.
Yeah, he's not a test player for me. But,
no, I think I agree. I don't think.
Speaking of accuracy, he clearly is a test player.
Well, yeah.
Difference between theories of truth, the philosopher in me would want to point out. Bears is, I think, probably the better theory of truth there. That Joe Denley is not an authentic test player.
It certainly
The
doesn't look
correspondent, according to the correspondence theory of truth, Joe Denley absolutely is a test player. But that's why empirical positivism is bullshit.
Armchair Cricket Podcast says both
Nothing
strong
worth
hitters.
listening to.
It will be a very beneficial for Ireland cricket if Kev O'Brien and Adair can string a partnership together. O'Brien has
Yes,
100
it
tests.
would always be beneficial for the batting side if the 2 current batsmen could string a partnership together.
Yes, that's my sentence exactly, I'm afraid. Thank you for stating the obvious Armchair Cricket Podcast, but
That's his shtick, and that's what he does, and that's why we shouldn't bother to read it out.
And Jay Grover says Josh is looking proper late period brideshead at the moment.
I just thought if Knuckles not going to wear a jacket, let alone not going to wear a jacket, let alone a pocket square, then at least someone has to keep the grid of cricket end up.
And Chris the Choir says, are you perhaps implying Australia should have scheduled a warm-up test against Afghanistan?
That would have been great fun.
That
to
would
watch.
have been great fun, especially
Again,
if it had
I'd
been
be
in
objecting
India.
to the term war, especially if it had been here. To be honest, at Headingley. As I know we are not live here, we are presumably on a drinks break, and that was the wicket of Paul Stirling, and it's the wickets that have been taken by Oliver Stone. One career as a film director, second career as an England bowler.
He's bowled very well today.
He has bowled very
impressive.
well.
And then Stuart Broad's wicket of Thompson as he shoulders arms to a ball that pings back the top of his off peg.
They've slowed down a lot now, haven't they, as well? Kevin O'Brien's not really in form.
I fear Root won't bowl any more spin today, I think.
No, I don't think there's any point in bowling
No,
any
Ali and
spin.
Leach are quite expensive, and
Broad
Curran
was-
and Stone and Broad are all bowling very well.
They are, they're all between them.
Well, it might be worth, actually, if they get O'Brien out, it might be worth tossing up a few to the tail enders. Yeah, because you never know with tail enders, you could get them to hoik or play a full shot.
I think O'Brien will find his rhythm soon. I know he scratched around, but I think he will come good soon and start looking a bit more solid, and England want to get him sooner rather than later.
Well, if I might vocalise Armchair Cricket Podcast, if he does, that'll be exactly what Ireland want.
Exactly, yes.
Continuing, we have in an over dedicated to Dr. Leona Hicks, Sam Curran to bowl the 4-pro pre-anti the over. It's outside off stump, and Adair can only chop on, knocking back middle and off, inside edge off a ball. He definitely had to play at it, but he didn't have to play that shot at
Well,
it.
he didn't have to play it. It was leaving. It was high and probably going wide of his off stump. He could have left that.
It was a swipe though. It was a diagonal batted hoik that he was trying to hit out of the ground. It wasn't there to be hit. All he could do was find the under edge down into middle and off. Adair goes for a 9-ball 3 bowled by Sam Curran. Ireland 149 to 7.
Well, you know what? I think that was a fairly standard pull shot. I just think he's too... Well, Sam Curran, you don't expect him to be too quick. I think that's... Again, we talked about it earlier, beating him for pace.
I think the
Adair's
ball was
gone back to pull it, and he's got that inside edge onto his stump, and you think, yes, he could
he's a
easily
bit
left
late
it.
on.
I think
Yeah.
the ball was too straight and too full to be pulled. Personally.
It wasn't too full. It was bloody chest high. What are you
Yeah,
on
I think it was
about?
high enough. Yeah.
I don't. I think it was more like thigh high when
No,
he made
it
contact.
wasn't.
No,
Maybe
it's
I got
by
it
his-
wrong.
bloody
by his
up
nipples.
there.
Yeah.
Man, you don't see too well.
Maybe I don't.
Too many wines. No, I think he could have pulled
only
that.
had one wine
edge just
today.
a bit early on it.
Whoever's coming in, which they're due in now, Harry's
fine
going to
one.
go on to ball by ball.
I'm gonna have a well-deserved
At the
rest.
end of this over. Can you bring one of those bottles of Chancer? I'm a Chancer, and this beer is quite good for me. And it's in the bottom of the fridge, and it's quite tasty. Whoever that may be. Thank you.
The new batter is.
I like his photo on the sign.
Speaking of chances,
Yeah.
Careful, we've got an O'Brien and a McBride. We've got to be careful there, haven't we?
Yeah, here we go.
that wasn't shoulder height. That was hip height at most.
Okay, hip height, but it was certainly not stump height. Above hip height. It wasn't chest height.
Some say he's a
It wasn't. It was,
genius, and others say
it was arse height.
he's handy
It was
with
above
the
arse height. It was above the hip.
balls them all and throw.
Where are we measuring
He's
from?
handy,
Shall I be
he's handy
diplomatic
with
in the middle?
brine, 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 brine.
With legs bent.
It still
It was
wasn't. It was
arse-high.
above bloody. It was
Standing
about
up,
a foot.
it
It was a
was
foot
just
above the bloody stump.
It was a
It
lucky
was.
wicket.
It was
a
above the
short ball.
stumps. Curran in to bowl the pre-anti penultimate ball to McBride, who plays inside the line, and it's taken by Bairstow. No run. How are we doing for tweets?
Well, nothing too exciting. We've got a bit of a debate about Kit Kats, which isn't particularly thrilling. But
Sounds
Mike
fascinating.
Meehl Wood has said, will we be seeing an ECB inspection of the pitch, given that 17 and counting wickets have fallen?
No.
Or an inspection of both sides' inability to bat property?
That's more
I
like
think
it.
the latter.
Yeah, I mean the ball has been moving in the air all day.
It's not done. The bouts have been absolutely consistent. It's not done anything. As Curran in to bowl the pre-anti penultimate ball of the over, and it's a replica of the. Sorry,
We're going to
that
get every ball named with an antimatter, penultimate,
Yes,
or a pre.
it's a replica of the pre-anti penultimate ball. Swings away from the left-handed batsman who plays inside the line. No run.
How many long fancy words can we get into?
Well,
Third
exactly.
ball, the second ball, the fourth ball.
The next.
Some would say this
Apologies,
is bullshit.
listeners, yeah.
But, you
The
know.
next clearly is.
Apologies if you're trying to relax listening to this and having to think about what ball the over it is.
Well, the
It's
next one
the
clearly
fourth.
is the anti-penultimate.
Clearly.
Indeed.
Oh!
As this time it's a Yorker that starts on leg stump and moves away, that is to say straightens. And McBride jabs his bat down on it. It goes out to mid-wicket. No run. I'm just doing this for Leone.
Hope listeners won't mind if I come on and use numbers.
They won't mind at all.
Yeah, you're fine with that one.
I'm not going to do this more than once as test. And it's my last over of ball by ball for the
Simple
day.
from my
So,
ank. Will this test finish tomorrow?
No. Next question.
No, I don't think it will do. It could finish reasonably early on day
Curran
3.
in the penultimate ball of the over. This time it's a fourth stump line straightening slightly. It's worked out towards backward point. No run.
If we were saying that day 5 tests keep finishing on the 4th day, so 5-day tests keep finishing on the 4th day, this is a 4-day test, very likely to finish on the 3rd day.
Thing is, England, whatever happens, England really can't declare tomorrow.
No,
at any
no.
point.
I don't think there'll be any
So-
declarations.
No, so if they get bowled out tomorrow, then there's a chance. Because if they get bowled out tomorrow, they only have if they get bowled out, say at tea time tomorrow, they've probably got a lead of 130.
I wouldn't, though, expect play on Saturday as
No.
Curran to. Oh no, he pulls out of his run up. What do I call the last ball of the over? I guess the last.
Oh,
Right.
hey,
That would be
with a
remarkably
one-syllable
prosaic.
word. Brilliant.
What should I call it? The post penultimate, the ultimate ball. As
Ultimate,
this
that's
time it's a good length ball, but it's speared down leg. We look to the green room for relief at the end of the over.
We do indeed.
Ireland 149 for 7. That was a wicket maiden, was it not?
Sorry, Josh, I have to read
yes.
this one out. Messi Jez back home. God, Josh, just when I get around to forgiving you, you totally succeed in sounding like a 100% tosser again.
Cheers, messages.
On that
I'm
note-
very, very sorry to have missed you here at Gorilla
Oh, no,
Towers.
I'm not going to move. You two, Harry
Someone's
needs
got to
go
come
into the
in,
middle.
but if no one's coming to relieve us, then Barry, you're going to wibble while we.
Yeah, I'm going to wibble.
I'm due a break.
You
so
are due a break. Harry's going into your chair. Tony's supposed to be coming in, but someone's supposed to bring me a beer when they come
Cheers,
in.
messages.
As we see Ollie Stone running back out into the pitch. Is he going to take over? This session's been 12 overs, 22 runs and 5 wickets. That's more like it. England will be happy with that one. Yeah, you ready?
Yep. So we've got Kevin O'Brien on strike as Oakes comes in, right arm over the wicket. Bairstow appeals to something down the leg side, but nothing doing. There's a dot ball. What are we? 149 for 7. Wokes has gone for 24 of his 7.1 overs so far. Root's thinking about an appeal, but no, nothing doing, was there?
Well, it certainly wasn't LBW. It'd have to be a little tickle, wouldn't it? And it certainly didn't look like it. And the bowler wasn't interested.
No, absolutely not.
We need to wrap these 3 wickets up, Reese. Oh, you were supposed to bring me a beer, weren't you? Oh, what do you mean?
Sack
Don't shake
messenger.
your head. I've been asking for this. Josh, bring me a beer, please. One of these fine bottles of Chancer from the bottom of the fridge. All that weird Castlemaine X stuff, that'll do. Anything that's got alcohol in, to be honest. It's a hot day. Beer is worthwhile.
Wokes over the wicket, and again it's down the leg side. Poor bowling really from Chris Wokes. He's not really got his radar going today.
No, he hasn't.
Bairstow does well to stop that, but he's not going to do anything down there. And it sounds daft. It's the kind of thing you say to kids cricket. Is he trying to bowl too fast? He can't get his line right. And
It's maybe trying to bowl the ultimate ball. Everyone else is getting it to swing around, but Wokes really isn't a swing bowler, is he?
There's a psychology as well that he's not taken a wicket yet.
No.
He's just straining that little bit
perhaps
more.
trying
Having
too hard,
watched
yeah.
how others have improved up their game.
Wokes at the crease over the wicket. Short ball to Kevin O'Brien, who just ducks underneath that one. Easily lets it go through to Johnny Bairstow. And it's 149 for 7. 3 dot balls in a row, but the first 2 were particularly poor dots. You don't want a short ball over the head. You think, well, it's a dot ball, but I don't think Kevin O'Brien's going to be out hooking or pulling. I don't really think Chris Wokes is going to rough him up.
No, he's not going to play that shot, is he? I mean, he doesn't look comfortable, O'Brien, at all.
No, but I think Wokes hasn't got the pace that Brawl or Stone. I think O'Brien will be more confident and solid against Wokes, who's coming in again. Just as I say that, he nibbles at one outside off stump.
Oh, I thought he got an edge on that.
No.
That
He
went a
just
long way
fended,
then.
Yeah, it swung a lot, and O'Brien's gone out with the swing and just missed it, basically.
I mean, this pitch is crazy.
It doesn't
And that's
look-
gone. I mean,
yeah.
that's gone off the scene.
We must keep reiterating, Joe Root won the toss and batted.
Yeah.
This morning, I don't know, 8 hours ago, whatever maths I want to say. 11 o'clock today, 10:30 the toss, and it's doing all sorts. Humid, very humid conditions, and Chris Wokes comes in for the 5th ball of the over. O'Brien on 14 not out, and he goes back just short of a length on leg stump, and he flicks it to mid-wicket for 2. No, just 1. Moeen Ali charges in. And throws the non-strike zone, but they were not quite going to come back for the second. O'Brien's not quite trying to keep the strike yet. He will trust McBride, but if one more wicket goes down, I think O'Brien might have to think about keeping strike as best he can. He's only on 15, but there's a bit of a tail to this Irish side.
There is indeed. That should have been 2, really.
Yeah, I thought that.
Of course, Jules will be in the school box today, won't she?
Is she?
I think so.
I believe she said she was. Oh, fantastic. So I should definitely not have said troubling the scorers earlier, because she's one of the ones who gets quite upset about that. Well, actually, it's quite a lot of hard work.
I'm sure it is. Come on, if you're listening, Jules, poke your head out the window where those 2 people are poking.
Well, it might be a different scoreboard. There's more than one.
That's true.
Last ball of the over, Wokes in, half volley on leg stump, and flicked down a fine leg by McBride. Broad just pings the ball in with his floppy hat down in the sunshine there. Best has to bend down, and Ollie Stone and Stuart Broad could almost be doppelgangers here. They both have the floppy, they're both tall, they're both right arm quick bowlers.
I think there's a touch of David Willey about Ollie Stone.
There is. He's a bit taller.
It might be the bit broadier. Quite a few people on Crick Tracker. Ashik Mohammed says, "Well done, great commentary." Well, thank you for that.
Thank you very much.
Hello to Zia ul Islam, who think England need Dharmasena here, as agreed by Wali Khan. I think they need a little bit of umpiring help, is what the suggestion might be. Mukesh Bhaskar says hi. Ishad Ali Khan is talking about England's collapse, and Mizar Mohammed says anyway England will win. Also hello to Mohammed Majan M.
Sam Curran comes in to start a new over, and he gets a bit angry and unnecessarily. He
What's
just
that
blocked
all
back to by
about?
McBride, throws it in and gives a free run. Stupid from Sam Curran. That shows his petulance, his inexperience. He's bowled, I suppose it's a Yorker on leg stump. McBride's blocked it back to him. McBride's not even a foot out of his crease, easily getting back, and then he launches it at Johnny Bairstow, who's done well to dive and get a hand on it. He's shaking his head in disbelief. What on earth are you doing, Sammy Curran?
Exactly.
Nowhere near the stumps. Super unnecessary, and it's got the actual batsman on the strike.
He was
Miles
never even left his
wide.
crease. What's he doing?
Bairstow's made brilliant ground to get a hand to stop it being 4 overthrows, but now Kevin O'Brien's back on strike, which is really not what England wanted.
No. Unless he gets him out.
Well, yes.
I am not up to date with tweets, but after this ball, I'll read one and you can tell me if it's been done before.
Sam Curran in, and he bowls to Kevin O'Brien, who flips one off his hip down to fine leg. No, 2, just have the 1. And that will be it for some tweets, please.
Yes, Mike Hill-Wood. Will we be seeing an ECB inspection of the pitch?
Had that one, I'm afraid.
You've had that one. Okay. Messi Jez, God, Josh won't get around to forgiving you.
Had that
one. Okay. Messi Jez again. I hope the Bear appreciates the fact that all of that Chancer and 4X beer was very kind donated by Brian from Brisbane.
Well,
currently in the UAE during the World Cup. Indeed, it was.
And thank you to Brian from Brisbane. No, we hadn't had that tweet, and it's very good.
Sam Curran bowls another dot ball straight back from McBride. Any more? Or are we up to date?
There's one bloke called Harry Everett.
Oh, what's he just put?
He's saying, doing ball by ball on commentary out on Gorilla Cricket now. He's put an exclamation mark.
Exactly.
Now. Not a little while ago or tomorrow, but right now.
We've got to get some of the fans listening.
Listen free online.
There you go.
There you go. Delighted you're here.
Did you put a link in it to us?
I put at Gorilla Cricket. Is that
of course he did. He's not an amateur. Obviously, he's done this before.
Sam Curran in again outside off stump, and I hope you're all now listening to me, commentators. McBride blocks on to cover, and the 153 for 7 are Ireland. What have we got? What are we on time-wise? We're going to play till 7 o'clock. An hour.
I'm pretty sure it's 7. How many overs have we actually had in the day today?
Not enough, quite simply.
I can tell you.
We're not going to get 98 overs in. Remember this 4-day test thing, they've decided to whack on an extra 8 overs.
Well, it seems to me that the minimum overs remaining according to this is 28.2.
We're not getting 28 in an hour and 20
No,
minutes.
we're not at all. We'll be about
We
8
might not
short,
get half
funnily
of
enough.
that. Well, yeah.
Yes, funny that.
Another dot ball from Sam Curran, outside off stump. McBride just shaking his head there. Should he have hit that? I think it was a bit of a wide Yorker. I think he's given himself a bit of a hard time. It wasn't really a freebie he's missed out on. He's just let it through to Johnny Bairstow. And
so basically we'll get a full 90 in one day.
which is what you'd expect from a test match.
Exactly.
All these bizarre new rules. We've got a Cricket Ireland shirt and an Ulster shirt in the crowd. Could see a few Irish fans have travelled over. Enjoying the cider at Lord's, is it?
They've got most things. They've got that Beera stuff. Pedigree is the main bitter.
McBride to Curran. Blocks it back. Very solid defence. Maybe I did a bit of a disservice there. I said a bit of a long tail. McBride's looking solid enough actually at number 9, but it's not quite,
Well,
I think England.
Boyd's supposedly in next, and he certainly can't.
He certainly can't bat. I think England's number 9. Who?
That's a nailed on 50 for Boyd then,
Well.
probably. Dan Jocelyn says, thanks so much for your coverage. Listening to my first cricket since I moved to Las Vegas. You all are now even further removed in terms of time zone, miles and climate, but not in my heart. Thank you, Dan. That's fabulous. And Viva Las Vegas. Bright Light City. Jay Grover says, doesn't the collapse suggest a previous edifice? Yes, I think so, but that may be in response to another conversation, or it just may be a Jay piece of lateral thought. I'm not sure.
There's a few of them.
There has been a few of those during the day.
Absolutely. Ireland lead by 68 runs, 153 for 7. The Bangalore hero of the World Cup victory over England, Kevin O'Brien's on strike. Down leg side, and he's flicked it for pushing 2, probably only 1 there, because Johnny Bairstow was incredibly quick. Bairstow and MS Dhoni, I would love to see in a 100-metre race with the wicket-keeping pads on. Who's your money on, you two?
Bairstow, just
Bairstow
younger years.
Okay, can we take Dhoni of 7 years ago or 10 years ago?
Ooh, that'd be
Now
close.
Probably Dhoni.
Okay.
Mind you, Dhoni must be fit as a flea. He's just doing his army service now or something, isn't he?
He's in there.
He's for a man of his age. I mean, let's say these things are relative, but he's a fit bloke, I reckon.
Well, Bairstow saved the run there, so McBride is now on strike, the less experienced of the 2 batsmen. Chris Woakes looking very sweaty, charging in over the wicket. Oh, and he's beaten the bat, McBride outside off stump. Too good for McBride to get an edge on it. He just sort of plays and doesn't get him right behind the line, and Bear's had enough. He's going to get his own beer now. Drinks break. Well, commentary drinks break anyway. If we need a jingle, I'm sorry we won't have one because Bear's just gone to the beer.
I think that if you bother, if you were able to look, not bother because you can't really from there. We have numerous beer jingles of various kinds.
As well, another false stroke from McBride. This one is a bit more aggressive. Works over the wicket and it's outside off stump. He goes for an extravagant cover drive and nowhere near the ball, and it's through to Johnny Bairstow. And you think, well, didn't really need to play that shot. Nowhere near it. Just take your time. I don't know why they're rushing here, Ireland. They're getting impatient when there's so long left in this game, and he just needs to bat for O'Brien here. There's no need him. If he gets out, then Ireland are in a lot of trouble. Whereas the longer he stays for O'Brien, then we bat for partnerships. Works over the wicket again. He bowls to McBride, who's solid and blocks that. Trickles to Moeen Ali at gully, 154 for 7.
Welcome to Mohammed Majan M. Shayas Gawada says, super game of test by Ireland. Mohammed Majan M says, great commentary, so thank you for that. And Jamil Baloch says, great day, Ireland 130 lead. That probably is optimistic but achievable. 130 lead, I reckon, from where we are right now.
It is achievable. Whether they get there, I don't know.
Chris Wokes over the wicket to McBride, who late cuts that, possibly for 4. Yes, the ball's rolling towards the boundary, and that's 4 for McBride. Great shot, 4 runs.
1, 2, 3, 4.
So Chris Wokes not too happy with that. It's just a little bit short and wide, but he's played well to wait on that and play it late. Or maybe I'm being a bit nice to him. Maybe he's not meant to play it quite so late, actually. You watch the replays. I think he's probably trying to hit the front of square, isn't he?
No, I think he is. He's trying to play it square-ish.
It wasn't a bad shot. It wasn't a false shot, but it wasn't conviction in the middle as I first thought. But 4 runs nonetheless, and 158 for 7. Every run's valuable here. We said earlier about maybe a magic 150 lead, but anything over 100 looks a bit scary with the extra figure.
Oh, I think so. A lot's going to be in whether this Lord's pitch sort of calms down a little bit on the second day. I mean, I almost feel like we're practically at the end of day 2. The speed this game's gone at.
So Wokes comes in and hits the hip of McBride. Don't let him in too much pain. He's probably got a aero stripper's pad or something on underneath his whites, and the ball just trickles out to square leg. No run. Wokes 0 for 30 off 9 overs.
Because in some ways, you know, the situation England most definitely want, or even if they were to quickly knock Ireland over, say, in the next half hour, that would be a tricky old session they'd have to face tonight.
It would.
They'd almost rather, you know, take the final wicket late in the day, having limited runs dramatically, and you know, worry about coming in fresh tomorrow morning.
Well, if they bat another hour, you've got to think they're going to add another 50 runs.
Yeah, which they don't want.
Which they don't want. So they're 120 behind then already, and you know,
some cracking hats in the crowd. Good to see people protecting their scalps in this searing heat, but a West Indian hat.
Dr. Dan's done a lovely sketch of Paul Sterling sweeping. Dr. Dan, I think you might have taken a few pounds off Sterlo there, but perhaps you were being kind, or just perhaps it's in the sweeping pose that you have in him. Nonetheless, it's as beautiful as they ever are. So I'm retweeting it for you.
Might give Jack Leach nightmares in that swept him earlier, but Kevin O'Brien from Sam Curran just sort of edges that down to not even third man, a deep backward point, a bit of a funny fielding position. Not quite sure what the thinking is here. Sam Curran really want to bowl short and wide and stop the cut shot for 4? I don't know, but he's got 3 for 25 off 8.1 overs, and after the first ball of the over, the bowler, McBride, is on strike. Number 9 batsman, he's 6 not out. Left-handed, of course. What a small fella. Sam Curran and McBride are probably similar sort of height, left-handedness as well. As Curran comes in again, angry face. Bowls very short, very wide. Shocking delivery, to be quite frank. Surely that's wide.
No.
Hey, Alim Dar, well umpired. He's bowled a wide.
Not surprised in that.
First wide of the day. 3-leg
I was about to say that must be the first time we've heard that jingle today.
Yeah. Well, there's 6 of those buys. I reckon 2 or 3 of them should really have been wides. Poor old Bairstow's is a bit of rough umpiring for his buy figures, but Sam Curran goes again to he's going to bowl that one again. And McBride, we'll see what he can do here. Oh, that's moved a bit. Swung away, and McBride's moved his bat inside the line. Going to go through Johnny Bairstow. No run.
Linux Lear says Dhoni's serving with his regiment as a lieutenant colonel during India's tour of the West Indies. He'll be scratching his bollocks the whole time, worrying how to stay awake for the whole day. So maybe he doesn't need to be that fit for that particular role.
No, okay. Yeah, because a few of them have got time off, haven't they? They're just playing. He doesn't play tests anymore anyway. But Cody's only playing the tests out in the West Indies, isn't he? Along with a couple of others are only playing the tests, not playing the ODIs and the T20s.
Too much cricket played these days, don't they? Need a rest at some point.
Well,
just
indeed.
when can they have it? Sam Curran, he's dithering between balls here a bit, getting his breath back. He bowls and McBride leaves it. His over-rate seems to get slower and slower. I know it's hot and it's easy for us to sit sweating here and say they're going too slowly, but it's not great for the game when it takes so long to get through the day.
Clive Lloyd told me one year the West Indies got fined £60,000 for slow overs.
captain or the whole team?
The whole
or?
team.
Was this when he when he woke up and went, slow down, slow down?
No. Obviously, he was captain of the side, and they were just too slow the whole time.
Yeah, they're not the most urgent of fellas, the West Indians, are they?
No.
They're just their laid back, casual attitude. It's great. It's cool cricket, but it wouldn't be rushed. Sam Curran bowls there in the block collar, so you should call that. McBride sort of full, just outside off stump. Blocks it to wide mid off, no run. Been a fair few dots in a row here. This is a bit of a strangling period for England. Bit of swing still. I wouldn't call it reverse swing yet. Still conventional orthodox swing, like you say, and moving the ball well.
Yeah.
Good bowling from England, you've got to say. So Sam Curran, 3 for 26. He, well, didn't get in that World Cup squad, and has been sort of in and out of the team. He was amazing in that Indian Test series last summer.
Yeah, he was.
Going out of all sorts of holes with the bat. But now he's with the ball. He's done it to talk. Outside, off stump. McBride just leads it through. Bairstow's. How do you feel for him today? They're just not carrying through at the same pace each time.
No.
He's having to flop forward, and he's jumping back, and he's moving right and left, and diving on the leg side. And
Who be a wicket keeper?
well, exactly. I do it as little as I possibly have to.
There's an interesting conversation going on Cricket Tracker about us as a commentary team, actually.
Oh.
But I'm not sure who's referring to who.
Oh, come on, please
So
do.
our postures apparently could be better.
Oh.
And Mohammed Majanem has actually, you have a fair point. That's absolutely true. I will try and sit up.
So Curran. And it's just
We're all sitting up now. You're doing it as well.
Serious now.
Well, I'm trying to get my seats. These are recliners. I'm trying to get it to recline.
Left side first person didn't say anything. Left side first person, as you look at it, that's you, Bear. That's
do you mean I
unusual
didn't
for you
say
not
anything?
to say anything.
Was that when he was getting a beer out the fridge?
Oh, that's the guy. Yeah, it could be weird. Doesn't mention the beer. Most probably, except him, both two are talking. Well, there you go. And then a question about the cricket. Will they score 200? I'm not sure. There's Gus Fraser. Is he going to be worried about England or thrilled about Tim Murtagh? Bit of both, I suspect.
I imagine so.
He'll be a bit torn like I have been today.
Go on then. If you're Owen Morgan, you don't mind Ireland winning this, do you? Particularly inside, you think, oh, go on Ireland.
If you're Owen Morgan, no, you don't give a shit. I don't play Test cricket, he says.
Yeah. He's better. He's been watching. He's just whining and dining today, and let him enjoy himself.
Was he walking the trophy around at lunchtime again?
That's good.
Apparently our postures have improved.
Ah,
thank you. Good to know.
Good to know. Oh, Wokes can't get it together.
Wokes has turned back and gone, until they've sat up properly, I'm refusing to bowl. That's basically it.
Kevin O'Brien's keeping his posture upright, and then he's not going to waste in that crouch position until he bowls it. Now he's got the crouch posture. Wokes over the wicket, looking tired, to be honest. Kevin O'Brien, that's looking more solid. He's getting into his rhythm now, O'Brien. We said he was a bit of a scratchy starter. He's looking solid. And I guess they just want to bat to end the day here, Ireland. They just want to bat and bat as long as possible.
Absolutely.
17 off 44 balls. He's in no hurry, Kevin O'Brien. Not worried about keeping strike. He trusts his partner. McBride, who's looked more solid than the three men before him.
He's done nicely so far, hasn't he?
Yeah, 21 balls, and he's played and missed at a couple, but that is Test cricket for him. Wokes over the wicket, and that's pretty rubbish really. Short, wide, outside off stump. Too high for Kevin O'Brien to cut it. He sort of practices an uppercut, almost if he could have just slashed it, free hit over third man. But he would probably do that in a white ball game, but red ball Test match, just leave it and dot ball.
Well, there is another consideration not too far off. 5 overs to... Oh, no, hang on. How many overs have we actually had? I'm looking at the lead.
I'm guessing you're thinking?
I was, but that's not as close as I thought.
No, I think you're a bit ahead of the game.
I was reading the lead, not...
Lead 75, not the
number of overs. Yeah, I was thinking, well, where did they go?
Kevin O'Brien gets a leg stump half volley, bit of swing from Chris Wokes into him, and he just flicked it across the square leg, and they get 1 run. O'Brien just keeps ticking in singles. Hit the beautiful cover drive. It's a standout shot. The rest have been sort of solid enough. Just rotating the strike, keeping the scoreboard ticking along.
We're in the 49th over, aren't we?
I was going to say, because they bowled 20 on this morning, and that was a whole session.
So we're not going to get a new ball today. Definitely not 7 o'clock.
No. That was me having a brain phase.
Not that England really need it. This one's still swinging.
No, this one's still doing the biz, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure I'd want to wear a woolly hat and a leprechaun beard in this heat, but some Irish fans still need to. Wokes around the wicket to McBride, solid as a rock, straight back to the bowler. Great defence, McBride, and he just doesn't look bothered. Doesn't look worried. I think they need a bowling change, England here. Chris Roach
Yeah,
doesn't really do
I agree
anything.
with you.
I'd bring Broad or Stone back on for another go, or even maybe try a bit of spin for something completely different. But I'd probably go Broad or Stone first.
If Brian was facing, I'd be tempted to go for Mo.
For the left hand
For the lefty,
batsman, the off spinner,
yeah.
Spin it away, get a slip or two in.
Yeah, exactly that.
Well, Roach has got 4 more slips. He's not really doing much with it. He'll probably going to get a wicket now, but he bowls over the wicket, and that's a very poor ball, but it's not very convincingly top edge for 4. Left-handed McBride just doesn't hit it very well, but gets 4 runs for it.
It's Nissan She. It's Nissan She.
4 runs with a, short ball from Wokes. I think he's getting desperate. You can tell Wokes hasn't got his rhythm, that he's just trying the unnecessary bouncer here, which doesn't look like he's ever going to get McBride out with that bounce. But I know he's top edge, that he's not hit it well, but it's always going to be safe enough, because top edge at this pace of bowling with no one as a backstop, you're never going to be out.
Unless it goes straight up in the air.
Well, exactly. So 165 for 7. McBride into double figures now. And I think Wokes, this should probably be his last ball. He's around the wicket, and that's why it should be wide, but it's not one-day cricket, so it's a leg side dot.
I'm glad you thought that. I've been so conditioned over the last couple of months to thinking if it's down leg, it must be a wide.
Yeah.
But of course, it isn't.
Of course,
it's
sadly,
not. It's not.
Being an average cricketer, I never get to play Test cricket, so any cricket I play is also leg side.
Well, indeed. Jay Grover says, "Bear name drop. Holly go lightly of the sofa, media whore." North Stan Gang Wankady says, "Doc, this could be made into one of those classic spot the ball in the grid contests." I think we're referring to the picture of Sterlo sweeping. Yes. It was.
That's a great idea, actually. Get that in a magazine. I like that.
Yeah, that is a lovely idea. Lennox Lear says, "At Gorilla at the Hoff Bear, you can't control yourself, so I will say this. I once defeated Sir Sandy Woodward in a game of harpoon. Have you ever beaten Clive Lloyd in a game of cricket?"
No.
There you go. Scared him half to death in the back of his car there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Sam Curran's continuing. Time for another tweet if you've got any more. Is that it for the Twitterverse?
It turns out I bought a dud car as well, which is really annoying.
There are. I'll tell you in a moment.
Sam Curran round the wicket to Kevin O'Brien, who, again, he keeps defending into his leg, into his pad. Maybe the swing is just misjudging. He's going to hurt himself, so he's going to whack one into his ankle or something. Safe negotiated.
Nick Martin says, "In response to Bear's question, who'd be a wicketkeeper? More of the England team. Butler, folks. Pope should easily be in this team. Bairstow probably shouldn't be a wicketkeeper."
Yeah, true.
I did name it. I can't remember, board on a train the day, and I named the wicketkeeper 11 actually. Duckett, Cox, there's so many around.
Oh, I think we've had a go at that
Yeah,
in various commentaries over recent couple of years.
Wicketkeeper 11 for England. I don't know about the bowling, but it'd be a hell of a side.
Yeah, it would.
Sam Curran comes in to Kevin O'Brien, goes back, defends it out to cover, no run. Slow going here for Ireland at the moment. They're just trying to churn out as many runs as possible. If they only get 20 off the remaining overs of the day, they won't worry. They just don't lose any wickets.
That'll be about fair summation.
Jay Grover's also getting into the more visual aspects of our presentation. In terms of visuals, Josh looks like a Quimper dwarf folded on himself. This is obviously not true, but he does not wear the chair well. He also says Tony needs a gold medallion, coin-sized and tasteful. Oh, okay. Probably because I've just got a slightly open shirt.
Well, Kevin O'Brien looks for the 1 to backward point, and he gets it. O'Brien was happy to take the 1, but Bryan was a bit slow coming through. Just sort of a late shot down to backward point. Good to see Jason Roy on the field, all right. He's had a few hamstring scare during the World Cup, and he went off a bit earlier. Lewis Gregory came on. The Somerset man, who's not made his Test debut yet, but not at the moment. Roy's in his point area.
Morgan Hauptfleisch says, "If the English batsmen leave as poorly as their politicians, they're in deep shit."
A lot of political jokes today.
Oh, funny that.
Funny that.
Yes.
Have I got time? No, I'll wait for little Sammy to come in.
Little Sammy, yes, I like that. Very little Sammy from
Probably about 6 foot, isn't he?
Well, no, he can't be 6 foot, can he? You're right, he's probably taller than we think, but McBride's just looking around, waiting for Sam Curran to stop faffing, quite frankly. He comes around the wicket, over the wicket, to the left-hander McBride, block out to point, fielded in, no run. Another tweet.
Mayank says, "My ears perked up when I heard backstop, then realised I'm listening to you guys, not LBC." Linux Leah says, "I'll take that as a win, thank you very much." Referring to your never having beaten Clive Lloyd at cricket. Jeff Perkins is replying to the conversation about MS Dhoni in his army role.
Oh, yes.
I'm pretty sure lieutenant colonels are provided with an aide-de-bollocks to perform any required scratchings. So there you go, more than likely.
Sam Curran in again to McBride, and this is a short one. He goes to pull, hits him on the hip, no appeal of LBW. Full shot, missed. That might hurt a little bit. A bit of belly, bit of hip in that. Sam Curran sticks his tongue out. And McBride will be disappointed he's missed out. That's your 4 ball. The bad ball of the over, you want to hit for 4 to keep the pressure on the bowler, but that could have done a bit of harm, but he's alright. What height is Sam Curran then?
I'm trying to figure it out.
Google's not quick enough for you.
No, I have to go to YouTube.
Well, 6 o'clock on the dot, so we've got at least another hour's play, so don't go anywhere yet. The tee can
1.75 metres.
Right.
What's that?
And that man bowls short. So whoa, and it's another wide. Sam Curran with 2 wides in the space of 20 minutes. And that's a wide for height. And well, it was leg side as well. Wide. For 28, and bowled really well early. He's just losing it a bit. I think, yeah, England got to make a change. Curran and Wokes just aren't quite up to it at the moment. They're probably knackered, to be fair, in this heat. And long day out in the field. And, well, they've also batted today, bear in mind. You want to get Stone, Broad, and maybe a spinner on.
Spinners haven't acquitted themselves particularly well,
No,
though. Certainly not earlier on, they didn't.
I think if they'd bowled better, Root would have gone to them sooner. I think he's worried about that.
Oh!
Gone in, and that could be an LBW shot. It's quite high, though. I think that's going over the top. It's at the back thigh pad. Alim Dar puts his head down. Yeah, back thigh pad. I don't think we need to
Umpire
retake
body
that one.
language is always interesting, the way they
Look down.
do or don't give things. That was a, seriously, don't even think about reviewing this. It was nowhere close.
Yeah.
Look. Jay Grover says, turns out I've had a pint with every celebrity from Sheffield. Which would include Joe Root then. After 42 years, I've had a pint with nigh on everybody in Sheffield, mind. There you go. Swing it both ways says, so the fact that Irish cricketers will begin to count as internationals is a Brexit consequent, question mark. Potentially yes, but I'm not sure I'm going to go down that rabbit hole right now. Linux Lear says recent sexual scandals in the armed forces have sadly put an end to that practice. In Germany at least, I think having your butler or Batman attending to your scratching requirements is what she's referring to there. Lead
So
crept up to 82.
Broad. He's listened to me. Joe Root's got me on speed dial, and he's brought Stuart Broad into the attack. He got no wickets in his first 11 overs over 2 spells, and his third spell of 4 overs got 2 wickets for only 8 runs, and looked threatening. Him and Stone in tandem were, well, as close to Broad and Anderson as you're going to get in this match, I suppose. Anderson been injured and watching in the crowd.
No, he's not 6 foot. Just 5.74 feet.
5.74 Sam Curran, nowhere near 6 feet.
No, we were right. He's not that tall.
Basically a dwarf.
For a quick bowler, he's not that tall.
It's about the same height as me.
Skid it out. Why are you trying to bowl short then? Give him more reason to not do so. Stuart Broad coming in over the wicket to Kevin O'Brien for Ireland, who plays and misses, and Bairstow drops it. I don't think he edged that. Plays and misses. Swung a bit after the bat again, and Bairstow missed it.
Again, it just somehow there is something collectively off the pace about England today.
You look back though.
After Lord's Mayor show kind of thing, isn't it?
It could be that. It can be potentially the heat. I mean, I know they get paid to, but today is an exceptionally hot day.
Let's be honest, Ireland have had 6 weeks to prepare for this. Most of England's team have had what, a week?
Yeah.
Well, it depends how many days they drunk.
I mean,
for
is it T20 blast time at the moment?
Exactly.
As well?
Yeah,
exactly.
that's 5 days or more. Kevin O'Brien slashes
Shot.
one through backward point. A little bit aerially. Not quite where he anticipated it to go. It's gone for 4 through wide third man, but I think he was trying to knock it through the covers, and he shrugged his shoulders at that one, thinking, oh, sorry, mate, one man to go there, but it's still 4.
Arthur Shearer is, oops. Arthur Shearer's keeping that boundary count going. Ireland have scored 22 boundaries to England's 10, so they're world champions now, right?
Well battered, Ireland.
Yeah.
I was at the Toughers and Vaughan show, and I think they were arguing about whether it's better to hit boundaries or not. They're saying, actually, well, if you can get just as many runs with 2s, and is that better cricket? I don't think it's a fairly pointless debate.
It doesn't win you a World Cup, though.
Exactly. 22 not out, just his second boundary, Kevin O'Brien, and he's now. Oh, we might have another boundary. Next week it might be a 6. Stuart Broad's bowled a really short one, not quite. Oh no, it looked like it gone a long way, and Sam Curran gets round and keeps it to 1 at fine leg, but it looked like he got a hold of that one. Long boundaries at Lords, I suppose. Stuart Broad with a aggressive bouncer, having been hit for 4 the ball before, and Kevin O'Brien's annoyed he missed out actually. he feels that was the one to hit into the stands.
Jay Grover says, "Damn it! Never had a pint with Root, but he's from Dore or Dore, not quite sure how you spell it, but which doesn't really count. He also did art in Worksop, so he's not to be trusted." There you go.
Worksop. My brother lived in Worksop.
Oh, I've been in Worksop.
It's a shithole.
I had a nice little carvery in Worksop. Other than that, I can tell you much more about it. Little market. Broad, 2 for 38, 15.3 overs bowled, 172 for 7 as McBride, the number 9 batsman, is on strike. O'Brien at the non-striker's end. Tapping his left-handed bat. Well, it's a bat, he's left-handed, doesn't mean his bat's left-handed. They don't really seem to exist. That's a good point, actually. I've just accidentally brought up the old left-handed bats. They don't seem to be a thing as much these days, do they? Bat's a bat.
Was there such a thing as a left-handed
Yeah,
bat?
because it used to be the inside edge in the middle and the shape of the bat was different. Yeah, absolutely.
Really?
Even when I was a kid, now I'm quite young, dare I say so.
I don't remember left-handed bats.
Yeah, the shape.
That's also when they used to have perhaps the indentation on one side or rather than the other, probably.
Maybe that's what's gone.
Which is something to do with giving firmer edges. If you call it the edge, so I think was the logic.
So it would edge for 4, not to slip. That's bowled by Stuart Broad into McBride, who goes back and knocks it square leg for 1. Yeah, I'm not, because obviously the outside edge will be different from the inside edge to right-handed or left-handed bat, because your outside edge is going to get a pepper in more than your inside edge. So it's
this is true, but I just see the bat was a slab of wood. You know, it's kind of symmetrical.
They think things through very carefully, don't they?
Nick Martin says, by the way, Dore is technically in Derbyshire. Well, it's in Derbyshire then.
Gary Wilson.
If it's Gary Wilson territory. Well, obviously Ireland is Gary Wilson territory, but
he can have 2 territories.
He can, having played his cricket there.
Why not?
Lead has crept up to 88.
Stuart Broad. Still charging in fairly well. Bowls run him over, short at Kevin O'Brien. I dare say he didn't need to duck that one. He did duck it, but it only just went over him. He could have almost stood there and just pulled
it.
Yeah.
We should be having a change.
If there's the puddle of sweat in the green room hasn't melted everybody who was out there.
Well, in the meanwhile, Ireland lead by 88 runs and 173 for 7. And Kevin O'Brien is 23 not out, which is level with the top scorer for England, which was Joe Denley of 23. So that's 3 Ireland men who've levelled or passed England's top personal score.
Yep.
And Tim Murtagh 5 for 13 in the day. That's well worth a watch back or listen back.
I'm sure it will be circulated and played multiple times. I've been following the Middlesex Twitter feed. I can assure you they're all over it like a cheap suit, as they should be. As indeed they should be.
Moeen Ali, here we go.
We are going to see some.
74.4 overs today. Have been bowled, 258 runs, 17 wickets. And now we go back to Moeen Ali. He's only bowled 3 overs for 14 runs. And the bearded off spinner.
Move over, I'm low. I like it too much. Move over, I'm low. You're one hairy dish I love unconditionally. It's Moeen Ali.
Not heard that one before. Very good. Moeen Ali into the left-handed McBride. Bowls and plays solidly to misfield, but there's the short extra cover, can dive and midfield it, no worries. Joe Denley again, not on the greatest.
Do you know what? I was just thinking that must be Stuart Broad because of the big floppy hat.
No, we got
once
3
it
floppies.
Wasn't.
We got Stuart Broad, Ollie Stone, and Joe Denley in floppies today. McBride flicks it to mid wicket and picked up by fielder there for a no run. Yeah, 3 floppies. Rare you'd have that in the. Well, I suppose Denley hasn't played for very long. Ollie Stone's new to the game, the test venue and the test arena. McBride 11 not out of 31 balls. Moeen Ali comes in, and again that's on a leg stump, but the field's set for it, so unless he goes hard, he's not going to get any runs there. Just blocked, defended to mid wicket, and Ali comes in again. Not the best first 3 balls, but he's not gone for runs yet. A bit more aggressive from McBride. He tries to drive for the offside, but doesn't time it. Just sort of miscues it to Joe Denley at short extra cover.
Nick Martin says, what about Joe Root? I'll tell you after this ball.
It's quick over this one as Ali's charging through. Giving pressure on McBride. Short, poor delivery from Ali, but, well.
He gets away with it.
Exactly, because there's a man deep at square cover. There's no run.
Joe Root, he played his cricket at Sheffield Collegiate, which is on Abbeydale Road. Definitely in Sheffield. Definitely #Yorkshire.
No.
Michael Vaughan too, if I remember rightly.
I believe so, yes.
Probably Billy Root as well, we should say. Moeen Ali, again to McBrien, and that's a good ball. So McBrien missed out on the one really bad short ball. The rest of the overall's okay. Nothing special, but when you're bowling at number 9 batsman, you can get away with average balls and still get dots.
Indeed.
Not the same for the other end though, as O'Brien's on strike. He might, I don't know, maybe he's not going to go into any change of gears, but nice to see the spin twins having a little chat here. Not Rashid this time. I know Ali and Rashid are good mates from the white ball side, but Jack Leach having a chat. You know, I think I always like to see similar bowlers having good chats. I always say Broad and Anderson at mid-on, mid-off when the other one's bowling, and Ali and Leach wouldn't have played too much cricket together, but sharing a few secrets and tips. As Broad will now also he's going to continue bowling. He's had a few overs in this spell, and O'Brien is the man, the big ginger fiery fella, 23 not out on 53 balls, and just batting away, just taking his time and playing invaluable innings for Ireland. I dare say that in the WR by now. Broad, oh, that's nearly dropped off an O'Brien glove and rib. Oh, he's in a bit of pain here onto stumps, but just safe. Yeah, he's holding his left rib. Left ribs possibly. He's probably one of those guys who wouldn't wear a chest guard. Is that?
He doesn't look like he's wearing one. And he just let that hit him, didn't he? Got completely all in the wrong. Yeah.
He took his eye off the ball, which is a cardinal sin when you play cricket. I know I can't tell Kevin O'Brien how to bat, but
yeah,
I would never want to. But
gloved it into his rib.
That's very dangerous. You remember the Phil Hughes accident, and you think, I know he's got that neck thing on, but you can't turn your head to it because then you get hit and you're in trouble. Completely looked away and just wore it.
Michael King responding to the picture we sent of the Dundee cake says it looks yummy. I can tell you I had some and it was yummy. Arthur Shear says I loudly proclaimed KOB had little left in the tank earlier in the season, so I'm claiming credit for invigorating him if he gets a double ton here. Well, I think even if he were to, he's in danger of running out of partners on his way. Jay Grover says Sheffield, build the wall, send them back. Door bastards taking our cricket captaincy. Mayak says, what's the odds on Ireland winning the test currently? I think it's still a 3-1 at last time I looked.
I shall tell you now.
Can you confirm? Oh no, I think it may have been suspended just now, but it was 3-1. And don't forget, if you do want to have a bet alongside us, then you can go to betway.com/GCradio, betway.com/GCradio. You log in, you deposit, you go to #BetYourWay, and not only will you be having some fun yourself, you will be aiding the show. Found those odds, Bear?
3-1.
It was 3-1.
It's still 3-1.
3-1 it still is. Okay. So that's the answer to that. Jeff Perkins, quick as a flash as ever, says no open door policy then, referring to where Joe Root is from and getting into Sheffield. More of a sliding door policy, says Arthur Shear, who I don't know if they colluded about the same joke, but interesting they got it at the same time. Nick Martin says Michael Vaughan did learn his cricket there, but was born on the wrong side of the Pennines. Let's hope that Joe and Billy don't become racist gobshite that Vaughan did. Lovely pull shot though. Missy Jazz says Ireland currently at 7-2. Wow. So in that order, in the order 3-1, 7-2, slightly better.
I think it's the end of the over. They're having drinks, aren't they? No. Kevin O'Brien's had an injury, hasn't he? We might.
So we're going to do a quick in and out here, are we?
So the lead is 88 runs. Ireland, what a day it's been for them. A little bit disappointing towards the end of the day as the shadows are lengthening at Lords on what's been an incredibly clear, I would say beautiful day, but hot, steamingly hot day, and it's going to be hotter tomorrow. And that's just in the green room, as Josh says, without taking his microphone to his mouth, so you probably didn't hear it.
And that's just in the green room.
There we go, that's much better. Ireland 173 for 7. England have fought back in this final session. As Sober as a Josh. It's your last chance to join Sober as a Josh at Lords on
any
day
bidders
3.
whatsoever?
I don't think we have.
Well. That's got to be said, you know, the runner-up prize is
2 days.
2 days with me.
What we should say, of course, is that if you want to go and join Josh on day 3, should it go to day 3, if you send in a tweet now with Sober as a Josh as a hashtag, we will put you into the random generator, and we will generate out of that a person to accompany Josh with his picnic, with his booze, and with his incredibly intelligent mind. which will drive you wild.
I may bring.
Anyways.
I'll bring the other one if you prefer.
Okay, bring that one. Broad has 2 for 39. He's into his 17th over. He'll have enjoyed this session a lot more, having picked up 2 wickets. The chances went begging in the middle session. It's O'Brien waiting, moves across his stumps. Got a very open stance. This is flung down the leg side by Broad, through to Bairstow. Got 2 men out on the, 3 men out on the leg side boundary. One at long leg, one at deep back square, one at deep mid wicket. Taking no chances with Kevin O'Brien, of course, the man who scored that marvellous 100 in the 2011 World Cup when Ireland overcame England. Bengaluru, but he's batted very sensibly today while wickets have fallen around him. 23 not out from 55 balls.
Is it not Bengaluru?
One of those. Short ball into his ribs, which he turns well down to, deep back to square in the end. It's Jack Leach coming around to field. They take the 174 for 7.
45 minutes left. I don't think we're quite coming up to the danger area with respect to the GPL.
Guerrilla Prediction League. What's the lowest?
The lowest entry, in fact all 4 entries are from our very own inimitable Messi Jez. The lowest is 323. Now current score is 257, so there is a slight possibility with 66 runs required in the next 45ish minutes that we get there, but I think it's probably just out of reach, especially if there's 10 minutes lost for a change of innings.
Well, it would need Kevin O'Brien to play an innings a little bit like that one that he played in Bangalore. But, no signs that he is playing that sort of innings today. 4 slips as Broad is in. Oh, he's found his way through the defences. He thought he had bowled him. He has bowled him. He thought he has bowled him. Then he thought, no, it's missed. And then he discovers, yes, the bails have come off. McBride goes. He got an inside edge, as so many batsmen do these days. And he has been bowled.
Oh no! Only just.
Just inside edge. I think onto unpadded thigh and then just onto leg stump. I'm not absolutely certain. Anyway, I'm going to play the fuck out of this jingle.
Well. Well, he's gone bowled by Broad for 11 off 36 balls. Good effort from him, but it's just getting away from Ireland a little bit. They're still going to have a lead of 89 at the moment. They'll try and get that up to over 100.
Shall I call you out for patronising there, Hendo? Getting away from Ireland when they have a lead that's approaching 100?
Well, I think it is if you look at what the situation
they were
at tea. At tea, if you look at tea, they had 2 down for, 130 odd. So I think, yes, this has been a fantastic session for England.
And Broad goes into 7th place on his own ahead of Dale Steyn in the list of all-time Test wicket takers. 440 wickets in 127 tests, an average on below 30.
He still
has
more
expensive than anyone in the top 7 other than Anil Kumble. But still, and the important thing there, of course, is that he's 4th in the all-time list of pace bowlers. Well,
indeed he is.
Non-spin bowlers. To call Stuart Broad pace is probably something of an exaggeration.
Jay Grover says Vaughan
went
to Silverdale, which is a selective comprehensive, halfway to the public school Wankry, so not Sheffield. He supports Wednesday as well, so not Sheffield.
Well, I have to break you off there for the moment.
Here
you go. This is the chance for Tony to once more swoon as the man of the day, the man of Ireland's Test.
Right now,
cricket really. I'm 50 against Afghanistan, batting at number 10, and 5 wickets today against England. What a performer he has been. And he has a jingle that goes.
Hold on, I was looking for the Vaughan Free jingle, given that we're in
talking
the
about
process.
Let's leave the Vaughan Free for the time being.
Yeah, I will find the cart with the Ireland jingles in it.
Well, it's going to be Stuart Broad bowling to Tim Murtagh, left-hander, of course.
Now, if I was Tim Murtagh, I'd be stuck between a rock and a hard place here.
I'd also be gutted
because he doesn't want to be bowling again tonight. I wouldn't have thought.
He steps back and he throws the bat at the ball, gets a toe end along the ground into the slips.
And then, of course, has a look at his bat like it must be the bat's fault that it didn't go flying to the boundary.
Which Murtagh jingle do we want? Do we want the Mog one or the Rich Peel 2 one?
I don't mind. Choose one.
It's Tim Murtagh. He blows it fast. It's Tim Murtagh. And finally he gets to play a test at last.
Well, is that both of them?
That was mixed. That was a mix.
Third test, in fact, for Tim Murtagh. Round the wicket, Broad. He steps back, and how is he not bowled by that? He really doesn't fancy Stuart Broad here
Because
at
it was
all.
too far back of a length and bounced over the top of middle stump.
Didn't miss by a lot, to be fair. He has a big grin about it, and then goes up to meet Kevin O'Brien. They punch fists, as is the way these days. And that is the end of Broad's over. A successful one. He has now 3 for 40 from 17 overs.
I request that our tweeters do not tweet in anything about the man who shall not be named, otherwise I will play the jingle, reminding you that on this station we are free of that toss pot.
Mayank says England collapsed to their worst performance at home on the same day as Boris became PM. Coincidence? I
don't
think
think
not.
so. I don't
You
think so.
are all doomed.
Speaking of people we'd rather not hear mentioned.
Kate Holdsworth, Dutchbird Kate.
Hey!
Hey,
Hello, Kate.
says record temperatures here in the Netherlands today, 39.1 degrees.
Should we get some cake and eat it on air just for Kate's enjoyment?
Lennox Leah says, what does sober as a Josh mean at this point? 3 sheets to the wind? Yes, probably.
I'm always sober as a Josh, Leah, always.
Pyra Badshaw says collapse of the Bretton Woods system was definitely a door policy. We're back to where Joe Root was born.
We have a change of bowling. And coming on to bowl is this man.
I wish my papa was a Holly Stone. At any granny comes to mix with his own. I wish my papa's Holly Stone. Then I'd have a claim, a fame of my own.
Here comes that good spell after tea. This one is misdirected slightly down the leg side, helped on its way by O'Brien, or it came off his thigh pad. Not 100% sure. They get back for a second. Ireland moved to 176 for 8.
Was a leg by.
Was leg buys, indeed.
Nick Martin says, I'm not aware of this Sober as a Josh competition. I've not booked my travel back after my day at the test tomorrow yet, so you might have a taker there.
Well, Nick, if you want to stay an extra day,
Nick Martin
there's
it is.
a ticket and part of a share in a picnic, including a share in 2 bottles of wine and whatever else we can smuggle
Why
into
don't
HQ.
you stay just a little bit
Available
longer?
If
And
you've
you
got
could-
somewhere to stay.
You could even come in here tomorrow if you're not doing anything else.
No, he said he's got tickets tomorrow.
Oh, he's got tickets as well. Okay, down the leg side again. O'Brien lets it past harmlessly through to Bairstow. And there is no run. Well, I think just about everyone who won't be at Gorilla Towers tomorrow from Gorilla Cricket is going to be at Lord's, seemingly.
Some of us, indeed.
Are we all 3 at Lord's tomorrow?
Well, I'm there. Grubby will be there. You will be there.
I'm there with my aunt. Rog will presumably be there.
Rog is there. Sounds like Nick is going to be there. Full outside the off stump, guided through the offside quite nicely by O'Brien, just stepping into the shot. It's chased and picked up as they come back for a second. Joe Denley, the man doing the fielding.
Is he going to be there as well?
I think he will.
Tony, are you in? Are you at Lord's
No,
tomorrow?
I have another engagement tomorrow that I'm somewhat committed to that is non-cricket related.
I thought you were already married.
Hey.
An engagement of a different kind.
So, O'Brien moves on to 26
Tell
from
you what.
59 deliveries. And Stone just needs to find his line again. His line in his first spell wasn't too good. He got it right after tea. Just struggling a little bit again here. See a man who needs to get into a rhythm. Here he is. That's a better ball outside off stump. A little bit back of a length, defended by O'Brien. Going up onto his toes to play that one.
Going up with his toes to play it off the back foot.
Well, I think he was looking as if he wanted to have played a more attacking shot to that and was annoyed that he didn't.
Tell you what, there was a very, very unpleasant smell emitted from the bear while he was in this seat while I was on ball by ball, but there's a rather more pleasant smell emitting from his direction in the green room at the moment.
That's good to know. 2 slips and a forward short leg for Ollie Stone.
Quite herbal.
178 for 8. O'Brien waits fair-haired. Stone comes in, he flaps at this one that moves away outside the off stump. Poor shot.
Did
really.
that keep low?
Kept a little bit low, but it did swing away as well. It wasn't particularly well played by O'Brien.
It went under the bat.
Yeah, a little bit. There has been a lot of low bounce today. I mean, even as early as when Joe Denley was batting there, I think probably his second ball kept incredibly low and he had to get right down on it.
But Ireland having to bat 4th on this, will be not looking at that bounce, will not be looking at that bounce with any particular sense of joy or optimism.
No, short ball this time. That does bounce a little bit, but it was slung in short. He ducks underneath it. and it goes through the keeper. It's the end of the 54th over. Ireland are 178 for 8, and we have more tweets.
Oh, we have a few, yes indeed. Jay Grover said, can you imagine the levels of over-intellectual pretension and alcoholism if Josh and I got together? We would create a vortex of solipsism.
Oh my God.
Messy Jez back home says, I've been robbed in the GPL by a slow overrate. Jay Grover says, and everyone else around us will be very bored. This is a nice one. This is from Dr. Hugh Sheridan. It's particularly for Harry, actually. Enjoying my first experience of hearing you doing cricket commentary, Harry. I'm still using the BBC Sport page for the score at the same time, a bit like when I stood in my hallway listening to Test radio commentary in one room and watching black and white BBC TV in another at the age of 10.
Do you need us to tell you the score more?
That sounds incredibly
frequently?
personal, or very personal. Are you sure that should have been on the forum to Guerrilla Cricket, or as a direct message?
Ireland after 54 overs are 178 for 8. They lead by 93.
Broad and Murta steps back and somehow swings that away.
Lambeth Lara
mid wicket for 4 runs.
He's unstoppable.
Well,
I don't know
Broad,
what shot that was.
Yeah, I mean Broad's sort
not
of
in the coaching manual.
He's mocking that slightly, but that is kind of a Stuart Broad shot these days as well, isn't it? A man who runs away to square leg and just swats at the ball.
It's like he kept his feet in place. His head tried to run away to square leg, and he pulled it where his chest would have been in front of his elbows, out towards the deep mid wicket boundary.
It was a fantastic shot. He goes to 4 from 3 deliveries. 182 for 8. The lead is now 97. Can they push it up past 100 with just 2 wickets in hand?
Should we encourage him to write the Tim Murta coaching manual telling young players how to play those strokes?
Yeah, it might be an idea. He's in, bowls once more. He steps back and carts it again, this time less successfully, just up as far as mid-on.
Dr. Dan, can we have some sketches of these Murta shots? Because the point that he's in, and he's still making contact with the ball, so he's still watching the ball, even because he keeps his feet absolutely planted in front of the stumps and falls. He's almost trying to fall over. Please just freeze frame your TV, Dan, and draw the sketches of them, because we'd love to see them.
Well, he's a better batsman than this, actually. I don't know why he's doing this, really.
Yeah,
he's just
I'm not
worried
quite
about getting hit. I don't know.
Pissed off about batting again today?
Well, possibly. Broad bowls to him. He makes room outside the leg stump, tries to swish that over the infield, but makes no contact whatsoever, and practices the shot again.
What I am a bit surprised about is I would have thought Kevin O'Brien might be just having a quiet
Just go
word,
down the
going,
wicket.
Look, hey,
Yeah. You know, it's important that they get as many runs as they can and get a lead as commanding as possible.
You see,
really.
the difference that time is that Murta's feet moved, albeit they moved away from the ball, but rather than falling over, his feet were somewhere well beyond leg stump, and he missed it.
Broad again round the wicket to the left-hander, and he's made room and smashed this through the leg side again between mid-wicket and mid-on, out towards is it the Allen stand there? What is the stand in that corner of the ground, Tony?
Next to the pavilion, to the left of the pavilion.
That's the Warner.
Look at it,
the Warner stand, of course it is.
To the right of the pavilion, as you look at it, it's the Plum Warner stand.
Yeah, 4 runs. The new
There's
stand.
not one boy for me, I must have 2 or 3, I need 4.
It's
Harry
working.
asked me
What a
earlier.
shot.
Harry asked me earlier if it was named after David Warner, and I deadpanned him back. Yeah, of course it is. Then he asked me who Plum Warner was.
So
Everyone should know
Pelham
Plum
Warner.
Warner's Plum Warner. Well, there's a kind of effectiveness in this Murta madness.
Leads over 100.
The lead has gone over 100, 101 now. Murta moves to 8 from 6. Well, if it continues to work, I mean, he played a little bit like this in that innings in Dehradun, where he ended up getting 50. He starts a little bit skittishly and then actually realises he can bat and can do better. 2 slips as Broad switches back to over the wicket, coming in from the pavilion end, short again, and he pulled it again, and he's hammered it past mid-wicket for 4 more.
Like a tracer bullet.
This is wonderful to watch.
The Ireland fans are absolutely
is this
delighted.
Mrs. Murta?
Is that Mrs. Murta?
That's
Mrs. Murta signals 4 to the crowd.
She's absolutely... What a
Turns
day he
around.
is having. 5 wickets and 12 not out from 8 balls. And basically, all those runs have come in the same area. Basically, it involves stepping back towards square leg and then pulling.
He makes
probably
contact
not watching the ball.
when he doesn't move his feet, when he's almost falling over. He's sort of his head's going with the ball, his feet are staying where they are, and in his state of imbalance, he's somehow dragging the ball out past mid-wicket, along the ground safely, not beautifully.
Back round the wicket, Fuller this time, and he
it's dug out.
drives this up to mid-on. Doesn't really time the ball. I imagine that Broad is getting quite annoyed by this. It's the end of the over, 12 runs from it. Ireland have moved to 190 for 8. More tweets.
Yes, indeed. Mayank says here in Delaware and Philadelphia, it was 96 to 99 Fahrenheit all weekend. So I feel for all you lot. It's too bloody hot.
Too bloody hot. I'm trying to think.
Indeed.
Do you remember what year was it when it was really hot in August?
It's not so hot that those of us who care about proper attire are not wearing jackets today.
It's extraordinary. It's extraordinary and stupid. But there you go. What was it? It was early August in 2003. Was it when it was went up to 100 degrees? In the
Something
country?
like that. It
Yeah.
did. Jay Grove had mentioned you two getting together, Josh, as being the vortex of solipsism was what we created. Jeff Perkins adds, as well as a many-tentacled love child. So there's an interesting thought, or rather scary one.
Yeah, I think I'll.
Messi Jazz says,
Are you matchmaking, Burko?
I think inviting people to the Sweatfield sauna that Gorilla Towers will become tomorrow may not be the most attractive invitation ever.
Well, no, we're not inviting people to come
Lords,
to
on the
Towers.
other
Come to
hand.
Lords. Stone starts a new over, jabbed with a little bit of swing or movement down the hill towards third man by Kevin O'Brien, who walks through more or less for a single. He goes to 27. Still hasn't had a word with Murtagh. Maybe he's just happy to see Murtagh playing some shots. I don't know. Murtagh is taking guard for the first time against Stone.
Our own Al Hotchkiss says 17 wickets in a day in the county championship. There would have been a points deduction. He went and corrected himself. Sorry, 18 wickets.
18 wickets.
Indeed.
Nothing wrong with this pitch. Nothing at all wrong with this pitch. The overhead conditions are doing a bit, and Ireland in particular have bowled absolutely beautifully. I was making this distinction in the green room. The bowling we've seen, it's there hasn't been the sort of the performance that conjures something out of the pitch that's not there. What we saw with the bowling of Murtagh in particular is just the perfect bowling to use the conditions, to put the ball where it needs to be put, to make the batsmen get themselves out. It wasn't like watching Malcolm Marshall at his best when he could magic something. It was more of a symbiotic relationship between Murtagh and the Lord's strip bowling from the nursery end, where he just got everything out of the pitch that was there to be got out of. It was a beautiful piece of bowling.
I think that's true, but I'll come back to it as Murtagh faces up to Stone, drives over the top of the non-existent mid-off, all the way to the boundary at long off. He's dealing in fours, is Tim Murtagh. He deals in fifers and fours. 195 for 8. And who's to say this might not be the most crucial innings of the day? These extra runs which will frustrate England, who on the other hand may be quite happy if they don't actually have to bat again tonight.
Well, Tim Murtagh might be happy if he doesn't have to bowl tonight, but who knows? We shall see.
Well, he's enjoying himself.
If he
at the
rips
moment.
3 more out tonight, having made a quick 30, he'll be happy as Larry, won't he?
Oh, more than. I mean, he'd be far more happy than Larry. He'll even be happy. Oh, he's played a pull shot to a ball that he wasn't even looking at, and he's going to be caught at deep mid wicket, diving forward. Rory Burns takes the catch. He did actually well to make contact with that because he was not looking at the ball at all. And Rory Burns has done well coming in and then diving forward to take the catch. The 9th wicket is down. Murtagh may still be required again tonight, but he's gone on this occasion for 16 from 10 balls. I think I may have given Rory Burns a little bit more credit than he deserved there, because he dived forward and he made a horrible mess before gathering it into his chest, really. But he's got a 3rd wicket for Ollie Stone, who has bowled really well since tea in the 2 spells that he's had. And Tim Murtagh, it's a shame there are so few members there today. That really is a disappointment. I imagine a few of them might have left by now, but it's
I think it was reasonably full earlier on, wasn't it? I think it may have emptied out a little towards the end of the day. Jeff Perkins says something about the bear has hairballs, did you say? I'm not quite sure what that was about.
Something to do with birds.
Messi Jez was saying, why the fuck is Broad continuing to bowl to Murtagh in the only place where he can actually hit it? Well, that's been
because he's trying to get him out caught at mid-wicket.
Yeah.
You'd have thought Broad might have used a slower ball at some point during that previous over.
Indeed. Lennox Leah says we should encourage the young children to emulate Murali's batting. Step 1, grin like a madman. Step 2, whack it. Step 3, repeat.
Yes.
Probably sums it up.
Very true. Out to the middle comes the final Irish batsman. It's Boyd Rankin.
Just very quickly.
Short but sweet. A little bit like the Mercer innings, has to be said.
Yes, indeed. I was hoping he'd get to 20 for some reason.
Unlike the Bairstow innings, which was just short.
Yeah. I was going to come back to that point you were making about bowling well for the conditions, but the extraordinary thing is that I have never seen the ball do that at Lord's. Tony may have done.
Yes.
When it's been this
In
clear.
March.
When it's been this clear and this beautiful a day. I mean, I know there was quite a lot of humidity early on in the day, at 58%. That's not massive though.
So
we see
people
it
who
abroad.
know-
We see much more than that.
People who claim to know more about this than I say that the association of swing with overcast conditions is a myth combined with confirmation bias, that we think that's going to happen, but it doesn't actually make a blind bit of difference.
I wouldn't say that there isn't merit to that argument, but I would say, as
You
Stone is
wouldn't
in,
say
bowl.
there isn't
Let me
merit.
finish. Over the arse of Kevin O'Brien, who leans forward. What I would say
I'm
is
just trying to
that
understand you.
humidity makes a difference. So you can have a cloudy day, which is cold, perhaps windy. Wind can affect swing in a negative way. So I think humidity has a lot to do with it. If you have an overcast day which is humid, I think those are the perfect conditions for swing bowling. Here comes Ollie Stone again in a horrible little flap outside the off stump by O'Brien, who, I don't know what's gone wrong with O'Brien in the last half an hour. He just seems to have lost the will to play proper cricket shots. Anyway,
He's not been seeing it well onto the bat all innings, though. I mean, he's been in he's faced 70 balls now. That's 12 overs, and he's still not seeing it well. And I think to have eked out as many runs as he has in this match situation is quite impressive.
That did move quite a bit,
It
actually,
did.
to be fair, when we see it from
And
a
it's
different
still moving
angle.
a lot, even 60 overs, 50,
Yeah.
50, this is the 56th over.
Yeah. It might have sort of discombobulated him to see so many wickets going down at the other ends as well. In comes Stone, goes wide on the crease, follows O'Brien, who top edges that, or has it come off his elbow in the end, I think, and just looped up in the air, short of Stone. Just checking to see whether he's okay. I think he's caught that on the end of his elbow. That would be really... hang on, what's going on?
They're checking to see if
they're
it was a catch,
checking to see if it was a-
whether he got any bat on it.
Oh, so Stone dived forward and
Stove
took the
dived
catch,
forward
did
and
he?
took it, yeah.
Okay, well, we're going to have a review. We weren't helped out by the camera work there. We had no idea that had happened. Here it is from side on.
It's a leg-it delivery.
He's followed him towards square leg. It's kept going. He's tried to pull it. And I think that's just come off his bicep, hasn't it?
The question is whether there was the thinnest of top edges. I don't think there was, but the question, it's a legitimate question, is whether there was the thinnest of top edges on the way through to the bicep. Ooh!
Doesn't
I
look
think
like
there
it.
was.
No.
No, there was the faintest of, just there's the faintest of squiggles on ultra edge.
I don't think you can give that out. I don't think you can give that
No,
out. He
they're
says
not.
no. Okay. We didn't actually see Ollie Stone diving forward to take the supposed catch anyway.
Did they review it?
England did, yes.
Yeah, so it was a fielding side review.
Yeah. So England have lost one of their reviews. 195 for 9. The lead is now 110.
Lost one of their reviews with
One
one
well,
wicket left to be taken.
Yes, that's very true. More tweets?
Yes, Nick Martin's talking about what now sounds to be a fixed date. I can't add much in terms of picnics. I can add in a little in terms of white wine and arrogance.
Ah, okay.
Oh, there'll be enough of that. There'll be enough of that for 6 of us.
You're on.
Arrogance, I mean, not white wine. There'll be enough of that for me.
Our very own Al Hotchkiss says, too much feckless ego in Broad's bowling. Try a feckin' Yorker.
Feckin' Yorker.
Feckin' Yorker. Patrick Glenn says, I can see a heroic defeat for Ireland versus England. It's like 1916 but cricket. Murter is Patrick Pearce and Boyd Rankin is Constance Markovic. Okay.
We're moving on. Our Irish history is not as good as it
should move on then.
Lead is 110, as I said. Broad is going to continue into his 19th over. He has 3 wickets for 52. He's going to be bowling to Boyd Rankin. He'll fancy his chances of getting a 4th.
That's a lot of overs on a day as hot as this. I mean, it's sweltering enough under these lights here in Guerrilla Cricket Towers, but out there in the weather, exposed to the sun, it is excruciatingly warm. It was bad enough schlepping myself up the hill from from the bus here to Gorilla Cricket Towers this morning.
Yeah, it was 29 degrees by about 10 o'clock this morning already.
Lugging a cool bag full of supplies, solid and liquid.
Well, an extra slip has come in for Broad to Rankin. Rankin leaves this one that's too wide outside the off stump, just hinting at moving away from the left-hander. Massive left-hander that Boyd Rankin is.
Dave Wood had said, I'm waiting for the opportunity to spend a quiet day with Ed. I'd pay good money for that.
Quiet day with Ed?
Quiet day with Ed.
How does that work?
It doesn't.
Is that when he has laryngitis?
I think that was the joke.
I think Ed is coming in for the first Ashes test, I believe.
Brilliant.
He's in Luxembourg at the moment.
I look forward to hearing him.
Indeed. Full, nicely driven, beautifully driven by Boyd Rankin. It'll certainly get him one. Might actually get him a second as Chris Wokes runs around at mid-off to field. And Ireland move within touching distance of 200. They're 197 for 9, and the lead is 112.
Pirate Badshaw says, lead of over 100, lovely. Also, Murtagh started the day on 91 test runs, so only needs 9 to be the 4th Ireland bat to go to 100, which he got with a 4, as I write.
Wow.
He did indeed.
So there you go. Legend. He's a legend.
He must be in the
Irish.
He must be in the all-rounder rankings.
Foot or a groin, Tony?
Short over the back of Rankin as he leans forward, and through the keeper goes no run.
Which end of the leg are you calling him?
Well, there you go. Jeff Perkins says, you might not be able, he's talking to Nick, you might not be able much in terms of picks, but I think you have the Knicks quite nicely covered.
See what you did there.
Well, I've just discovered that I'm actually not that far from Josh in the grandstand tomorrow. I will be wearing a mask, and I'll tell him Grubby to disguise himself. So we might wave at him. Or we might throw. Actually, since we're 6 rows behind you, we might throw things.
Throw things at me and hit my aunt.
Indeed.
Bear the wrath of an aunt with Parkinson's.
Oh dear. Flicked away by Boyd Rankin down to long leg. Nicely played. And he picks up another single. 198 for 9. He goes to 3. O'Brien 27.
Roger Melly says, hello, good evening and bollocks. Fuck me, I didn't know this was a 2020 match.
We've missed you, Rog. We've missed you, Rog.
Well, England batted 7 overs more than 100. They batted 142.
What, balls?
Yes.
Oh, right, okay.
And they batted balls.
Yeah, they did. Well, they didn't actually. That's the thing about it.
You're right.
They didn't bat that badly, I have to say. Johnny Bairstow played a poor
they did.
shot.
They didn't.
Well, they perhaps didn't concentrate as much as they should have done.
They played it too much, in part because Murtagh in particular made them.
But also because maybe they feel they have to force the pace against a team that they would consider their inferiors. Whether you like it or not.
Cricket.
Yeah, that's an in-swinger from Broad, but played really nicely by O'Brien, who skipped across his stumps into line, then flicked it away through square leg for a single. He goes to 28.
Some more people joining us on Crick Tracker. Hello to Abid Balouche, the wonderfully, incredibly, magnificently named Abbas Afridi. So hello to you.
Twice.
So good we named him twice. And Marif Al-Islam, hello to you too.
Great to have you along. Welcome to all those people watching us via Crack Tricker. Crack Tricker in Ireland, that would be, wouldn't it? The Crack Tricker. But Crick Tracker in India and associated.
Don't talk to Blair about the Crack Tricker.
Indeed not. 199 for 9. The lead is now 114. It's Rankin to face Broad.
Whose jingle was so good they named him twice?
Can't remember. Anyway, here comes Broad in to Rankin. Rankin gets an outside edge as he tries to give himself room. He was rather running away from that in the way of Tim Murtagh, but it has flown away off that outside edge down to third man for 4 runs.
And if you kids can't listen, then you bound to see the way you get shot for crossing a boundary.
Was there an old, I can't remember if it's Guerrilla Cricket or Test Match Sofa, but was there an old jingle about someone who was so good they named him twice? I can't.
There was, and I can't remember what it was, to be honest. It's getting away from me at the moment.
Can our listeners remind us?
I'm sure they can. Getting away from England a little bit is Ireland.
Bring up the 200.
203 for 9. And I don't want to worry England fans, but if England perform as badly as they with the bat as they did today,
defeat by an innings,
they'll be defeated by lunch tomorrow.
And if England perform as badly as this in the Ashes, it might be a close fought series.
Oh, it doesn't bear thinking about that. But I'm sure those people around the world, from India, from South Africa, from New Zealand, from Australia, are absolutely relishing, loving what's been going on at Lord's today.
Not sure about New Zealand. I think they're above that sort of thing.
I don't know.
Oh,
I think there'll be quite a
bit.
few New Zealand fans who will be enjoying this. Now that's hit him on the pad. Has he got a bit of an inside edge on that? The reaction of Ollie Stone would suggest so, because otherwise it would have been absolutely plumb. He in fact signals to Joe Root that he thought there was an edge. 203
worth
for
reviewing
9.
it anyway, given the stage of the innings. But
no, I think there's a big inside edge. Big
yeah,
inside
I think
edge.
you're right. I suppose there's no. If it's not out, there's no point reviewing it.
Strange little innings this from Kevin O'Brien, but he has added 28 to the score, and he's been there for some time. He's occupied the crease.
Look at the partnerships. It's not just the runs he's scored. It's Murtagh's was 12.
Yeah, well, exactly. He's been there. He's
enabled.
He's held up one end. If he'd had someone else to do that as well, it would be an even stronger position. Stone into him outside the off stump, jabs down on it, kept a little bit low. Ball runs into the covers. There is no run.
What's Nick's offer, by the way, for the ticket and the share of the picnic?
He didn't mention money. He just
No
assumed,
donation to
he just
Gorilla
assumed
Cricket?
you were desperate.
Well,
Messages back home says, is 16 enough to be called a cameo? Discuss.
Yes.
Cricket Badger quickly replied, in a game like this, it's almost worthy of a knighthood. Linux Lear is telling me, sorry Tony, but you have to pronounce the final E in legende.
Legende.
And I called him a legend. But apparently it's legende.
There's quite a deep short leg now for O'Brien, who goes outside the off stump and jabs a ball that's rising down into the ground. Played that well. Inspects his bat.
The legenda is most commonly the key of a map. Is the word, the context in which that German word is most frequently used. They don't call it a key or Schlüssel. They call it a legend.
Ah, there you go. What are you chortling at? Something is Tickle Tony. It's Tickle Tony time again.
Oh, Tickle Tony time. That was nicely alliterative.
Wide on the crease goes Ollie Stone, angles it down the leg side, and Bairstow has to tumble to his left to grab that one. And there is no run.
Cracked a Bear had tweeted saying, who's tracking me now? For fuck's sake, fame is hard to deal with. And Jeff Perkins says, worse than that, they're tricking cracks.
Yeah, we're not tracking you, we're tricking you.
cracks.
Indeed. So 2 balls left in the 58th over. Ireland 203 for 9. What is the time? Because I'm wondering whether England would have to come out again tonight now. Now that's really well played by O'Brien. It was dug in really short, popped up.
If they take it in the next 5 minutes, they will have to come in again. Otherwise, we will close for the day, I believe.
Well, I mean, if you're England, you just don't want to take a wicket, do you? Yet. You really don't want to take a wicket.
No, I don't think so.
The last thing England need to do is go out there, place one over and lose a wicket tonight. That would just be disastrous. That said, it's been a kind of disastrous day for England on their return to Test cricket.
This
Stone
lead is creeping away a little bit, isn't it?
It is. No sign that this pitch is going to change dramatically and the weather's going to be similar. Now he's followed Kevin O'Brien outside the leg stump. He's pitched it in short and it's flown away over Johnny Bairstow for 4 byes.
Well, those byes were so exaggerated that I'm going to call them this.
Of course, there's a Vitality Blast game coming up on the TV later. Sussex Sharks v Hampshire.
On which we will not be commentating.
We will not be commentating.
It's James Nickoff Vince.
And Luke Wright, the lesser seen Luke Wright.
He doesn't look right at all.
Oh, very good.
I'm not quite sure what's happened to Luke Wright's career. Just seems to have disappeared down a wormhole.
The ever vigilant Meerkat Katie says, I think the so good they named him twice a jingle is Harath Harath.
Good point. Right, a change of bowling.
Now,
a change of bowling. Out of the attack comes Stuart Broad after being badly treated by Tim Murtagh, and back into the attack, having bowled 4 overs today. It's the off spin of Moeen Ali.
Our beard shouldn't touch. Move over, Amla. I like it too much. Move over, Amla. You're one hairy dish I love unconditionally. It's Moeen Ali.
Well, according to the Lord's clock, it is now 6:47.
Yeah, about that.
So England need to stay out there for 3 more minutes to ensure that they don't have to bat again this evening.
Playing in the Blast game this evening will be...
Hello, I am a cricket ball and I would like to sing you a song.
Thanks to Prike in Munich for this.
By my head I want to drown my sorrow, look right through me.
Moeen throws this up to Rankin, who lets it drop and then tries to drive it, but shanks it somewhat into the ground. Back to the bowler it goes. Yeah, we don't get enough
fade on that jingle.
We don't get enough time to play Crikey jingles these days. He's bowled him. He's bowled him. England are going to have to bat again tonight, aren't they? Oh no, that is very.
England will
silly,
have to face a Boughton over.
That is extraordinary. Unless, of course, we are unaware of some regulations that have come into effect in recent years. Jason Roy doesn't look happy about this at all. He's very reluctant to get off.
Well, if he slows it down enough, or through the gate, it just went on with the arm, hit middle and off, most 80% of the way up the stumps, just missed it. Classic spinner's tail end wicket.
So finally, Ireland are bowled out. What an extraordinary day. We've had 20 wickets, would you believe? 20 wickets
So far.
So far. Now,
So you think one over?
Well,
one over?
I'm waiting to see.
10 minutes for the change of innings, so they have to bowl one.
I think so. But I have seen
6:48.
matches recently in which this has not occurred. So I'm wondering if there's been a tweak to the regulations. Anyway, so Ireland bowled out for 207. They lead by 122. Lovely innings from Balbirnie. Decent innings from Paul Sterling. Been some consistent contributions all the way through. But they have kind of collapsed. Kevin O'Brien remains 28 not out. Sterling made 36. Balbirnie 55. But they were only 2 down at tea, wasn't it? It's been an extended session, but they have lost 8 wickets in this session. Curiously, there were 10 wickets in the first session, 8 wickets so far in the third session, and only 2 wickets in the middle session. Let's look at those bowling figures. 3 for 60 for Broad, none for 34 for Woke. Stone, I thought, bowled well after tea, 3 for 29. Curran got a little bit lucky, but maybe that's part of his makeup. Taken 3 for 28 from his 10 overs. Jack Leach, 3 overs, none for 28, and finally a wicket for Moeen Ali in his 5th over.
Shall I run through the batting scorecard, Hendo?
You can do, yes.
First to go was William Porterfield, caught by Jack Leach off the bowling of Sam Curran for 14. Next man out was James McCullum, the other opener, who went for 19, bowled also by Sam Curran. Andy Balbirnie was bowled by Ollie Stone for enterprising would not quite do that innings justice. It was a fantastic innings in the circumstances. He will of course wish that he'd gone on further, but he brought up his half century at Lords. Was bowled by Ollie Stone for 55. Paul Sterling was LBW to Stuart Broad 36. Kevin O'Brien, the not out batsman, 28 not out. Wilson, the wicketkeeper, was caught by Joe Root off the bowling of Stone for a duck. Stuart Thompson was bowled by Broad also for a duck. Mark Adair was bowled by Sam Curran for 3. Annie McBride bowled by Stuart Broad for 11. Tim Murtagh was caught by Rory Burns off the bowling of Stone for a 10-ball 16, and the last man out, Boyd Rankin, was bowled through the gate by Moeen for 7. The not-out batsman, as I said, was Kevin O'Brien. He faced 73 balls for his 28, and there were 18 extras, of which 10 byes, 6 leg byes, and 2 wides.
Now, we think there is only 1 over, but we may be wrong. I mean, who knows? They might go on till 8 o'clock.
Well, if they start with a spinner, they might get a second in.
Yes,
Murtagh will be fired up.
Oh God,
over.
Murtagh's going to bowl the over. I mean, you wouldn't give it to anyone. You wouldn't entrust it with anyone else, would you?
He wouldn't let anyone else have it.
I would be very surprised if anyone but
grabbing
Tim,
that new ball out
Tim
of the
did
box
it.
presented to him by the umpires.
It's not so much that you couldn't give it to anyone else; it's that no one else could get the ball out of his hand.
Roger Melly, by the way, was asking, is this game being played for a trophy or a cup or something?
We were saying earlier it should be the Owen Morgan Ed Joyce Trophy.
That's a very good question. I will have a look, see if it mentions anything. Or someone else perhaps can, while I read another couple of tweets. Ling Mao was straight in as well to go Harath. Yes, so good they named him twice. Roger Melly says, let's hope the 85 doesn't fit on a fucking T-shirt. Kate Holdsworth, I'll probably jump over that but pass on the message.
What does she say?
Nick Martin says, Josh Robinson, I'm happy to contribute the cost of the ticket to you / Guerrilla Cricket. This time tomorrow I may lowball that, so I'd advise Hendo to grab that cash from me tomorrow.
Ah, right, okay.
There you go.
I'll do that.
What we're telling him the ticket's worth?
It's more enormously expensive. It's at least 230 quid, as was the leading ticket in the World Cup.
Chris Gilbert says, relax everyone, this morning's performance with the bat was just a cunning plan to give the entire Australian pace attack side strains from laughing before they even bowled a ball.
That's what it was. Yeah, you could have a point there. Well, it'd be interesting to find out what's gone on in that Brad Haddin versus Graham Hick 12s match at Southampton. The continuation of that game, Australia v Australia A, or two mixed Australian teams.
Linux Leah says, that was very good, Tony. The only thing is I can't remember what I did, but there we go. And also that was very well remembered, half knowledge, Josh. So I don't know if you can remember what you did either, but apparently we both did quite
something
well.
Good, something good.
So that's all rather good, yes. Swing It Both Ways says, Trick Cracker sounds like a dodgy sex toy. Let's move on, but I see what you mean.
Yes.
Pyro Badshaw says, I'll take that lead of 122. If you told me that at the start of the day, I'd have bitten your arm off Jaws style. We're going to need a bigger lead.
I think you might have swallowed people whole, actually, rather than just bitten the hand or arm off.
Messi Jez, as ever, on the ball, as ever. Messi Jez says, yes, Sky and Cricket Info confirm 1 over to go.
There you go.
Just 1 over. Well, that will be fun. Steve Aldersley says, Ireland should ask for an extra half hour because there is a chance of a result tonight. That I like very much. Linux Leah says it should be the Boyd Rankin Trophy considering he's played a test for both sides.
Good call.
Oh,
Good, not a bad shout.
I've just had a thought. Do you send out 2 night watchmen?
Ooh.
1 over. 1 night watchman.
Well,
1 night
think
watchman.
maybe 2.
No,
I'd
because
send England's top order out just as a punishment and say,
Well, you
get
could
your heads
do
down
that.
and concentrate.
I reckon you send out.
no, you don't send out 2 because if a wicket falls,
You send out another one.
no,
You
if
reverse the
wicket-
batting
No,
order.
because if the wicket falls, they go off.
That's true.
And then there it
you
is.
Send out,
That's the
all
end
you
of the
need to
play.
do is send out 1 and say don't take a single. If you
Don't
want
take
to,
a single,
if you want to
and
be
you're
that
facing.
negative.
You're facing.
Yes,
Yeah.
if you want to be that negative.
Well, I think England should be. You've got to win a game. It's as simple as that. They've had a terrible day, really. They've hauled it back a little bit. Quite a bit, to be fair, in this final session, and they don't want any more damage done. So I would.
So who would you send out? Would you send out Jack Leach? Would you send out Ollie Stone?
I think I would send out Jack Leach because he's a left-hander, and Tim Murtagh does like to run the ball away from the right-handers, doesn't he? If he bowls from the nursery end, and I guess he has the choice of which end to bowl from. So I would send out Jack Leach, and well, then it doesn't really matter who you've got at the other end if you give them instructions not to run unless it's 2 or 4. You can send anyone out, can't you?
Well, that's an interesting conundrum. I've just got a sneaky feeling they're going to send out the 2 openers from this morning, but I may be wrong.
Do you think that's because they want to front up?
I think so. I think that's the right call as well.
I think anything else would appear to be almost acknowledging we're on the run here. Ireland have got us running, and I don't think psychologically they'd want to do that. I'd be quite disappointed if they did do that. I've got to be honest.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's quite useful if you think about it. If you get a night watchman out there tonight, someone like Jack Leach, and then he can hang around in the morning. I mean, and maybe take a little bit of the sting out of Ireland in the second innings. I think that could be a useful thing to do. Anyway, we've still got the heavy roller on the pitch at the moment. Maybe this will flatten this pitch out completely and England will score 500 in this innings. Anyway, we're not ready to go yet, as the umpires are out there, the fielders are out there. And finally, England's batsmen are coming out, and we will be able to reveal to you very shortly who these 2 batsmen are. And one of them is Jack Leach. Hurrah!
Oh, there we go then.
It's Jack Leach and Rory Burns. Now, you're not going to be so stupid that having taken Jack Leach and Rory Burns out there, that you make Rory Burns face, are you?
No, of course not.
You would hope not. But it's Jack Leach on the way.
I'm disappointed by this
I'm a bit
decision.
disappointed, but there you go.
I think it's a good pragmatic decision.
Well, he's not a bad bat, is Jack Leach. What's his
not.
highest test score? 57?
No, he's a decent enough batsman. And as I said, I think Murtagh would prefer to be bowling at right-handers. So I'm not sure that's... in fact, I'm sure it is the right decision. I may not say that when Jack Leach is out first ball. Anyway, let's jingle them up.
Indeed. I'm assuming that the night watchman is going to face the first ball. Here he is.
Camilla is a face that I know.
Now imagine if you were coming in from work, you had no knowledge of this game until now, and you saw Rory Burns batting with Jack Leach, and you think, ooh, England must be about 270 for 8 in their first innings.
What is quite unusual as well, you've actually got the fielding team and the bowler both watching the pitch being rolled, because they're all out there while the pitch is still being rolled, which I don't think happens that often, does it?
No, not that often.
And opening the bowling will, of course, be...
It's Tim Murtagh. He bowls it fast. It's Tim Murtagh. And finally he gets to play a test at last.
What an extraordinary day for Jack Leach. On the first day of a test match, he's batted twice and he's bowled a few overs.
And he's opening. He's opened before though, hasn't he?
I think
I've got a sneaky
he's only
feeling he
batted
opened
as a
in
night
New
watchman
Zealand
before. I'm not certain if he's opened.
I've got a feeling he may have opened, you know. I think he's done it before. We'd have to check that.
Anyway, slowly rolling off down towards the nursery end. The most sluggish of heavy rollers you've ever seen in your life. He's not bothered. He's just enjoying himself.
He's got a brief to make sure there's only one over.
I wonder if he actually wants to kick it into a gear it hasn't got, just to get it done.
He needs to inject it with a bit of turbo power. Off he goes finally then. It's like watching Postman Pat or something.
He's left everyone feeling a little flat.
Hey. Well, let's hope, England will be hoping that this pitch has flattened out thanks to that. Got 4 slips. We've got a very straight, short mid-on, a short mid-wicket as well, as Murtagh is in over the wicket to bowl to Leach, and he's beaten outside the off stump. Through it goes to the wicketkeeper. There's also a man at a silly mid-off position just to the right of the pitch as we look from the nursery end. So one ball is negotiated by Jack Leach, not that he knew a great deal about it.
Jeff Perkins wants to know, didn't England start the day with 3 night watchmen?
Yeah, it felt like it.
Linux Lear confirmed that yes, it was pronouncing legende.
Murtagh turns again. It's only his 10th over of the day. He's in to Leach, who goes across and leaves this one outside his off stump. It goes through very low to
in addition
keeper.
To the forward short leg, there is both an on Hayden there are both an on Hayden and an off Hayden to Jack Leach here.
Well, yeah, I described one.
I
think a little bit. I didn't think they were quite as straight as that, but yeah, you probably could describe them as that. But it's fun to see, really, isn't it? Man with bat in his hand, crowded. Sterling at first slip, Balburney as well. He's in there. He's in. Bowls down the leg side. Allows that one to hit him on the pad. Everyone is racing after that ball. Is there saying, "Come on, take a single, have a single."
Not going to happen.
Rory Burns just leans on his bat at the striker's end. He's barely moved. He won't be man-cadded tonight, that's for sure. And Gary Wilson is giving encouragement to his bowler. 3 balls remain in this most curious of test match days. If the test summer continues like this, I think we'll have been royally entertained. Might not have seen many days of cricket though. In comes Murtagh again. Bowls to Leach, who again plays a ball outside the off stump, which seems to go further away from him, off the pitch. But, no edge. And so England survive. None for none in their second innings. Bowled out for 85 just before lunch. And Ireland then batted. And for a lead of 122, they made 207 in their first innings.
I'm just looking up Leach's batting positions. He seems to have batted 10 in his first test twice. I'll break off.
Murtagh again into Leach. Oh, that's the way to play. He gets right forward, presents the full face of the bat, defends it into the close field on the offside.
I know he's only 1 ball left. You've got time to talk us through that field, Hendy, because it's
well,
extraordinary.
It is getting extraordinary, but it's not actually that easy to see because they're constantly focusing on the batsman and not showing us a very interesting
Essentially,
field.
all 11 are around the bat in some capacity.
Yeah.
I think 4 slips,
a gully,
silly mid on, a silly mid off, forward short leg, silly point. You name it. You think of any short fielding position, there is one.
Final ball of the day. Murtagh in, bowls to Leach. It's on the line of middle and leg. He negotiates it by playing it back to Murtagh. It's a maiden, and England have survived to fight for the second day against the might of Ireland, who have crushed them today. England 85 all out. Joe Denley 23, Ollie Stone 19, Tim Murtagh 9 overs, 5 for 13, Mark Adair was a revelation as well, 3 for 32. Ireland made 207. Andy Balbirnie batted really nicely for 55. Paul Sterling made 36. Sam Curran, once he came on, he took wickets, and it really needed a decent innings from Kevin O'Brien to get Ireland up to the 200s after England fought back in the final session, taking 8 wickets after tea. That meant that England had to come out and negotiate this one over, but it's absolutely Ireland's day. And okay, the crowd has thinned out. It's quite late in the day, but a lot of people stayed behind just to see the dramatic final moments.
Wasn't it just? Chris TB has kindly told us Leach opened against Sri Lanka in Pallakeli, scored 1 off 11.
There we go.
I knew it was in the back of my head. I remember him having done it before.
So it must have been just again that sort of similar situation coming out as a night watchman with an over or so to go.
Well, I'm still trying to catch my breath. What a day! What an extraordinary day!
Well, it is. It has been, and it's hard to catch your breath because of the action that we've seen, and also because it's about 38 degrees. And we are sitting in front of 2 enormous lights as well, so we're sweating a little bit here.
Some of us have nonetheless put a jacket on for the
and some people have got jackets on, linen though they may be. Well, we've gone away already from Lords. We have switched to Hove, where Sussex are playing Hampshire. We're not going to bring you action from that game because, quite frankly, we've given enough to you people today.
We're not even going to bring you the jingles of
and
Rashid Khan
none of us
James
sitting
Vince.
here will be back with you tomorrow. We'll all be at Lords, but there will be Nakul Pandey, there will be not Fred Titmus, there will be the Bear, there will be Nestle Boy, and there'll be others who will be joining you
Someone's
tomorrow.
got a trial tomorrow, haven't they?
There will be Warren is coming in. Warren Muggleton is coming in tomorrow as well. So there will be a new voice that you hear, like you heard Harry today, who I thought made a very promising debut. Hope he'll come back again. Anyway, that's it from us tonight. Any final tweets before we?
Couple of final ones. Messi Chairs has just given us the score of Australia A and Australia, 105 and 170 for Australia A. Australia 120 and 35 for 2 at stumps. Apparently Siddlemarsh and Cummings were in the wickets.
Right.
Jay Grover says, fuck you all, I have whiskey and waffles. Nick Martin says, bring back Alistair Cook.
Yeah.
Messi says, it's only fair to let Leach join his teammates with an average for this match. Pirate Badshaw says, thank you all for comms, comrades. I'll see you all tomorrow for more wickets. Messi Jez says, thank you all, and what a great way to have Test cricket back. Good luck in the big melt tomorrow. That's pretty much it. What a day, what a day.
The scorecard for the second innings: Leach, not out 0. Burns, not out 0. Tim Murtagh, 1 over, 1 maiden, 0 for 0.
Excellent. On that note, we should line up the theme tune, say our farewells, and Guerrilla Cricket will be back. We individually may not be back until Friday if it's still going, but there will be commentators here to take you through tomorrow's exciting action. Think of us all out there sweltering in 38 or 39 degrees. But until tomorrow, it's goodbye from all of us at Guerrilla Cricket.
Goodbye.
Guerrilla cricket. Whoa. Guerrilla cricket. Whoa. Guerrilla. Take guard, man the barricades, patrol the covered boundary. At last the time has come, this is a cricketing emergency. Hear this call to arms for every cricket revolutionary. Take up your bats and stumps for the test match insurgency. At first they tried to silence us, but we would not be silenced. They threatened us with lies, so we threatened them with violence. Che Guevara, Sangakkara, Joseph Stalin, Douglas Jardine, Robespierre, Carol Hare, Vladimir Lenin, O'Brien Kevin, Guerrilla Cricket. It's not